Welcome to Walk Off Sports Media's podcast, episode 5. I'm joined by Kyle Janacek, Dylan Martinez, and the lover boy himself, Byron Robinson. Couldn't even get him off the phone to get on our podcast tonight, but you know what? We roll, we ball, we're getting
Okay.
things done. But anyways, big week of sports this last week, week of sports to get to. Kyle, what was the best thing from your sports week last week?
Cowboys overpaying I'm sorry, the Colts. I can't get y'all off my mind. The Colts overpaying for Sauce Gardner. 2 first-round picks is crazy.
That's a certified hater move right there. I mean, you just must hate the Cowboys, always on your mind. But how about you, Dylan? What was the best thing you've seen this week in the sports world?
UT win. UT's win. I feel like that's I love the Longhorns. They're slowly creeping their way back in to college playoffs.
Up to 11 now in the official college football playoff rankings that came out tonight. I got to say, for me, I've just been happy to see that we don't have to rely on the AP poll anymore. That makes me so much happier because, man, that I don't know what they doing over there. But how about you, Byron? What was the best thing from your sports week?
I'm gonna say the World Series, man. The World Series was really good. I was talking about it with some of my teammates, and they were saying it was one of the best World Series they've seen in a while. I mean, the 18-inning game, the crazy plays, Yamamoto and his insane pitching performance. So, and then of course Shohei being Shohei and Vladdy being Vladdy. So, I think it was the World Series for me.
Most definitely. Well, we're going to move right ahead into our NFL recap for week 9. We had the Ravens versus the Dolphins on I guess it was Thursday Night Football last Thursday. Lamar Jackson comes back for injury, picks up right where he left off. 204 yards, 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 119 yards on the ground. Tua, again, struggles a little bit. And, I mean, what can be said about this Dolphins team? They're just bad. But then starting off in the morning on Sunday, we had the Patriots versus the Falcons, and what was actually a really highly contested good game. Drake made 259, 2 touchdowns, and TreVeyon Henderson starting to take that backfield by storm up there in New England. I hope to see a breakout game from him in the next couple weeks. He's been due. We'll see what happens. Michael Penix plays all right, 221, 3 touchdowns. Bijan, I mean, Kyle, your boy, what's been going on with Bijan the last couple weeks?
Man, they're not giving him the ball. I mean, 12 rushes this week. Didn't have a lot last week. They're giving a lot of the work to Algier. I don't know what Raheem Morris is doing. That should not be a split backfield. Bijan's probably the most talented running back in the league, up there with like Jameer, CMC, 1A, 1B, 1C. So you got to get him more involved, especially if you want to keep winning some of these games. Because the games that they were winning, they were relying heavily on Bijan. Some of those games, Drake wasn't even showing up, but Bijan was carrying them. So they need to get back to it, start targeting him a little more. I thought it was just because of Kirk Cousins being the quarterback and his production dropped a little bit, but it's been just as bad with Penix.
Well, speaking of Drake London, absolutely goes nuclear. 9 receptions, 118 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So really carrying the Falcons on his back there. Then the upset of the week, the Panthers beat the Packers at Lambeau Field. Bryce Young throws for only 102 yards, but Rico Dowdle, man's looking like an RB1 in the NFL right now. 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Love to see it. Packers do lose a significant weapon on their offense in Tucker Kraft, but Panthers get the dub, and the Panthers are 5-4, very sneakily 5-4. And then the shootout of the week, Bears versus the Bengals, absolutely insane game. I don't know if y'all saw the end of this one, but what a game. Joe Flacco throws for 470 yards and 4 touchdowns. He does have 2 picks. T. Higgins goes nuclear. Jamar Chase has a great game. Caleb Williams also plays well, and Colston Loveland has his best game of his NFL career, 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then moving on to the Texans versus the Broncos. Broncos ended up getting the dub 18-15 in overtime, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was in the fourth quarter. Right,
as time expired, yeah.
As time expired, yeah. They were about to go to overtime. But Bo Nix, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Davis Mills comes in replacement for C.J. Stroud, who goes out with a concussion. Throws for 137 yards. just a tough loss for the Texans when they were up on this Broncos team. Just couldn't finish. Just couldn't put the ball really in the end zone. And that ultimately cost them. Steelers get a massive upset against the Colts. Aaron Rodgers plays well. Jalen Warren, 2 touchdowns. Dale Jones does throw for 342, but he did throw for 3 interceptions. That Steelers defense definitely stepped up this week. They're starting to be one of the better defenses in the NFL over the past couple of weeks. And then the Chargers versus the Titans. Business as usual for the Chargers. Justin Herbert, 57 yards on the ground and a touchdown, 250 in the air, 2 touchdowns, plays a great game. And man, this Titans team is just, they're floundering now at 1-8. Can't really get anything done. Cam Ward is just not really living up to that first overall pick billing yet. But, he's still got a lot of football ahead of him, so we'll see. Then the Vikings get a massive upset over the Lions. J.J. McCarthy plays well. And then Aaron Jones, 9 carries for 78 yards, had a really good game. Jared Goff played well. Amon-Ra St. Brown played well. Just they couldn't get it done against this Vikings team, which was honestly a little bit surprising. I think it was just a fumble on David Montgomery ended up costing the Lions this game. And then the 49ers roll the Giants. Mac Jones plays well again. I wonder when we're going to see Brock Purdy again. But Christian McCaffrey dominating on the ground, in the air. I mean, what more can you say about this guy? He's phenomenal, and he's staying healthy this season. Jackson Dart actually has a pretty good game. 191 in the air, 2 touchdowns with 56 yards on the ground, and also a rushing touchdown. And then a great game. The Jaguars beat the Raiders in overtime. I mean, wow. Trevor Lawrence plays pretty good. You never really know what type of performance you're going to get from Trevor Lawrence, but he does enough to win. Geno Smith has a great game, 284 yards, 4 touchdowns. Brock Bowers, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. Really nice to see Brock Bowers get going. And shout out Cam Little, setting the NFL record for the longest field goal with a 68-yard field goal. Crazy. Then the Rams roll the Saints in Tyler Shugg's initial NFL start. Matthew Stafford has 4 touchdowns, 281 through the air. Kyron Williams has 114 on the ground and a touchdown. And Puka Nacua, 95 yards and a touchdown. Did pick up an injury, but he should be able to play next week. And then the game of the week, Bills versus the Chiefs. Josh Allen plays nearly perfect, throws only 3 incompletions, 273 yards and a touchdown. James Cook goes off. Dalton Kincaid goes off. This is the first time the Chiefs defense has allowed a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver. And I think it was like 14 games. So they've been playing really well. But Patrick Mahomes has his lowest completion percentage that he's had in his NFL career. So obviously not the time to do it. But the Chiefs still keep it close, had opportunities at the end. I thought that it was Tyquan Thornton that Mahomes threw that deep pass on the second to last play of the game. I thought he would almost came down with it, but Bills improved to 6-2. Then on Sunday Night Football, the Seahawks thrashed the Commanders even before Jaden Daniels goes down with an injury. Sam Darnold was perfect in the first half, had a perfect completion percentage, threw 4 touchdowns, was absolutely insane. JSN, another great game. 8 receptions, 129 yards. And unfortunately, Jaden Daniels looks like it's going to be a season-ending injury with a dislocated elbow. And then on Monday Night Football, the Cardinals shocked the Cowboys. I mean, this Cowboys defense can't stop anybody. Jacoby Brissett, DeMarcado, Marvin Harrison Jr., they all carved up this Cowboys defense. Cowboys offense struggled to get going out of the gate, started getting going a little bit late, but just couldn't execute enough. And Cardinals beat the Cowboys 27-17. Well, the upset of the week, Steelers upset the Colts. Dylan, I know you had this picked on last week's podcast. I'm going to let you chime in first. What do you think of this result?
I thought exactly what was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen because, like we said in the last podcast, the Colts they haven't had that calling on what, like, this was really the deciding factor if this was a real team or not, to me at least. And they folded. Daniel Jones finally struggled, and I genuinely feel like if Jonathan Taylor can't get it going on the run game, then Daniel Jones is completely gone. He's out the equation. And the Colts defense folded too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a pretty good game. Warren had a pretty good game. But I'm excited to see Sauce Gardner on the Colts. I think they overpaid, but I don't know. I don't think Sauce Gardner is going to help them too much. I think they're pretenders.
Yeah, I've been saying it since early on in the season. There's really been 3 games that they've played that have been true tests. They had the Broncos early in the season, which at that point, the Broncos weren't what the Broncos are now. They didn't have their stride. I told y'all the Rams was going to be a big test. They lost to the Rams. Whether they should have or not, that's a different story. And then I said that the Steelers were going to be a test. I know I picked the Colts because I was so confused on it, but I knew it was going to be a test and I knew it was going to be a struggle. The offense wasn't going to look as good. I could honestly see this happening a lot more. I still think they've built a big enough cushion being 7-2 now that, they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be one of the top teams. I think they're going to end up having that 4 seed winning the AFC South division. But their faults are definitely, I said they reminded me of that Steelers team back in 2020 when they started, what was it, 11-0?
Yep.
I think it was 11-0 that they started, and they completely collapsed, lost in the first round. I can see that same thing happening this year with the Colts.
Yeah, I like the story of, Daniel Jones going to the Colts and them having success and everything. And I don't know, I have a soft spot for the underdog story. But I mean, when you look at the box score, 3 interceptions and just no offensive production. I think they had two quarters where they went completely scoreless. First quarter they scored a touchdown. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't on the pod last week, but it was a test and they failed the test. I mean, what was the end score again? They lost
They
by a
lost by a
touchdown.
touchdown. Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
28-21.
but I mean,
27-20.
from what I see, I mean, they might have got like a D if this is a real test.
I think y'all are overreacting a little bit. We do have to realize that playing in Pittsburgh, crowd and that environment is one of the toughest places to play. And this is a really good Pittsburgh's defense. And this Pittsburgh team is not bad. Whatever people say, this Pittsburgh team can beat a lot of teams. So, I mean, I think we're
They
overreacting a
were a
this
little bit.
is
7-1 team going into it, right? It was 7-1 team going into it against a 4-3 team.
No question.
I
but I'm
mean,
just saying we're
regardless of
overreacting
where
a
you
little bit.
playing.
Yeah, you can't throw 3 picks.
well, what's an overreaction, that they're going to falter, that they're going to be first round exits? Because the
I mean, yeah,
Steelers
that they're gonna be
defense and the
first round
Steelers
exits. I'm not
atmosphere,
expecting them
that's
to win the
exactly,
Super Bowl, but they're not
yeah, I
gonna
was
be
going to
first.
say,
Like
this
they're
is
still good.
it's going to be a team like the Steelers that you're going to play in the playoffs, especially this year.
Yeah.
The Colts might play a team in the first round at home who's the 5 seed that is better than them. They could face the Bills in the 5 seed. They could face the Chiefs in the 5 seed. Like, they're going to face some really good defenses.
Who's to say
And,
they end in that
it's going to be
that
tough.
4th spot though? I mean, I'm like,
Regardless,
could
still, if they finish third, right, they're still going to have to play either the Buffalo or New England. I think New England's probably going to give them the best chance to move on, but you're still going to be playing one of those top teams,
they will play the
Denver,
6th seed in
Kansas
the first
City.
round. So I mean, you're looking probably like Kansas City, Jacksonville, which they can beat the Jags. So I mean, I'm not, or the Chargers.
I don't think, I
too.
know we're going
They've
to get
already
into
beaten
it
the
a little.
Chargers.
I know we're going
So
to get into the banged up Chargers team that is going to they're going to get healthier soon. That's when they didn't have
Joe
Omari
Alt's
and
done for the
Hampton.
season though. So I mean,
Yeah, that's going to be
they're
a tough
struggling
one,
on the
but
line.
there's a lot of teams. I know we'll get into it a little bit later with the postseason predictions, but there's a lot of teams that I think are better than the Colts, even though the standings don't necessarily show that right now.
All right. Well, moving right along, the game of the week: Chiefs lose to the Bills. What's y'all's initial reactions to this result?
I'll go first because I'm ecstatic that we might not see Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. He was low-key starting to feel like Brady, where like every year he would get in the playoffs, and then the Ravens aren't doing that great. But Lamar's back. So I've been trying to get Lamar a Super Bowl ring type fan. And it's always been Patrick Mahomes in the way, or it's always been Josh Allen in the way. So I'm hoping that Patrick Mahomes is out of the equation, so at least he can just go against Josh Allen and maybe get the job done and get a ring. But they got to make the playoffs first anyway. But
I'm gonna chime in on
that's
that.
how I feel about it.
I want you to know that Lamar Jackson has the same playoff. I think it's similar playoff win-loss record to Dak Prescott.
Please don't say you're finna like try to compare him to Dak or something.
Dude, he's the same thing as playoff Dak. Lamar has choked again and again in the playoffs. If Mahomes
Lamar,
is not in the playoffs,
Oh my
Lamar-
God! Don't
Hey,
even get me
hey,
started. Don't get me
Mahomes is
started
not
on
in the
this.
playoffs.
Dak
Josh
has 2
Allen is going
wins.
to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen's going to the Super Bowl if Mahomes is not in the playoffs. There's no question in my mind. Josh Allen has been
I gotta agree
way
with
better
Chase.
playoff performer.
Okay, I'm not saying that that's probably not the case. I'm just saying I hope that Lamar can turn the Ravens around. They can make the playoffs, and then he can make a run for a Super Bowl with no Patrick Mahomes in the way. That's all I'm saying.
I think
Realistically,
Baltimore has
it's gonna
1.
be the Bills.
Is it 1 or 2 playoff wins Lamar has?
2.
I know the first one came. Is it 2? I know they beat the Texans in 23, and
Listen,
I'm pretty sure it's 2. He has one more.
I'm just not trying to. I'm not trying to. I just don't understand why he brought Dak up. There was no reason to bring Dak up.
Because Dak, he's the
That was
same
just-
player in the playoffs.
Nobody's talking about Dak. We were talking about Patrick Mahomes
I'm
and Lamar
saying
Jackson and Josh
everybody's
Allen.
gonna
Nobody
shit on
talked about the
Dak.
Cowboys.
I'm saying it's the
It's not
same thing.
about
Lamar
y'all.
just doesn't get
It's
the
not
same
about
hate
y'all.
as Dak does in the postseason.
Y'all get Williams, and you think that y'all could just start getting into conversations? No.
I'm not
Well,
saying
taking
I'm
it
not
back-
even saying
taking
it's
it
a
back-
Cowboy fan. I'm saying that there's Josh Allen in the playoffs, then there's Lamar in the playoffs. There's no way that a Lamar Jackson led team is going to beat a Josh
And
Allen
there was
team
nowhere
the
in
playoffs.
that where I said anything about Dak Prescott. Okay, let's get back to the point. Let's
getting
get
back
the
to
point.
getting back to the point that's being made, I think this game solidified Buffalo is the best team in the league, right? James Cook, the receivers doing just enough. The defense is playing really well. I think Buffalo is going to be considered the best team in football now. We can all agree on that. Even though
I do have to chime in. The Patriots did beat them in Buffalo, and the Patriots are ahead of them in their division right now. So
I agree, but I still think I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think Buffalo's the best team in the league.
oh, no question. I mean, in the playoffs, yes.
We're still gonna see another game between Buffalo and the Patriots. It's hard to win. It's hard to win out. It's hard to sweep your division in the NFL, right? It's hard to win 2 games in a row versus the same team. So we're gonna see, but I'm not worried about the Chiefs at all. All they have to do is get in. With how good of a postseason performer Patrick Mahomes is, with how good Andy Reid is as a coach in the playoffs, all they have to do is get in. They can get in as a 7 seed, the last spot in the playoffs, and they're gonna be just fine. They're gonna play.
I hope they don't.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a little tough because Jacksonville is currently at 7 right now. They have the tiebreaker over Kansas City because of the win on the last play of the game a couple weeks ago. But overall, going throughout the season, I like Kansas City's schedule. You know, they got a weak Houston team, they got a weak Cowboys team, which y'all are gonna say they may get a little better. Right now, yes, the Texans are not finding ways to win games. So that's two wins right there. I think they beat Las Vegas. I think they're going to handle Indianapolis pretty well, and they're going to play Tennessee as well. So I'm not worried about the Chiefs. I think they're still going to get in. But the Bills, as they've done, I believe 5 seasons in a row now, have beat the Chiefs in the regular season. I know
They
you
gotta
said
beat
that
them in the
last episode, Chase.
That's the difference. Is that they can't get it done in the playoffs. They can get it done in the regular season.
So that's why I'm saying I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I'm not worried for Kansas City.
We'll bring this conversation back when inevitably in the AFC Championship game, the Bills are going to be playing at home and they'll be playing Patrick Mahomes' Kansas City Chiefs. We'll tailor this conversation for when that point comes. But moving right ahead, Jaden Daniels gets injured in an absolutely gruesome injury. Probably one of the most disgusting things I think I've seen live. I just hurt for the dude. I mean, this is one of the most talented players who obviously has struggled this season with injuries, but you hate to see that type of injury. And it's good that it wasn't on his throwing arm, but still scary injury for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
All right.
As soon as I saw it, I texted our group chat.
No,
Hello,
it was terrible, terrible. But moving right
you hear
ahead,
me?
yeah, I can hear you. We're gonna discuss now. We pulled me and Kyle kind of discussed the kind of 6 teams that we think still have an opportunity to make the postseason in both the AFC and the NFC. And they're kind of on the outside looking in right now in those 8, 9, and 10 spots. But we could easily see any one of these teams making the playoffs. So we're going to start off with the Ravens. Obviously, getting Lamar Jackson back is a massive boost. They do have a pretty weak schedule from here on out, but there's not much room for error. So do you guys think that there's a way that the Ravens can get back into that AFC playoff hunt and make the playoffs?
Most
Absolutely.
definitely.
I think. Go ahead, Doe. Go ahead.
Most definitely. I think anytime you get Lamar back, if you look at Lamar's first 2 games, were a complete dogfight of teams. They played the Lions and they played the Bills, and they lost. But I mean, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm fully confident in Lamar and Derrick Henry, and the defense has slowly have been getting better. I mean, if I'm a Ravens fan, I got full confidence that they will turn the season around. So I think they sneak in.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the division race right now for them, I think they are in the AFC North. They're
They're
currently
second.
two games back. And thankfully, all these games that Lamar missed, they didn't play a single divisional opponent. So they none of the tiebreakers are messed up. They didn't lose any key divisional games. They got 2 more with Pittsburgh, 2 more with Cincinnati. Those are going to be the big ones. And I see a world where they may not lose another game this season. That's how good Lamar Jackson is. I trust him whenever the pressure's on like this. I trust Lamar Jackson to go out there, take care of business in the regular season. Obviously, Chase just had that discussion about his postseason struggles, but as it sits right now, they can only really lose 2 more games. And I think when Lamar needs to turn it on, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think these next, what is it? One, two, three, four. I think these next four they have it in the bag. I mean, I have them over the Vikings, then Browns, Jets, Bengals. I got the Ravens. The Steelers, December 7th, that'll be, you know, with the Steelers team that we've seen that sometimes that could be difficult depending on how hot they are. And then they have the Bengals again, the Patriots, which would be another one, the Packers, and then the Steelers again. So, like Kyle said, them not playing any divisional games while Lamar was hurt definitely helps. But I mean, hopefully this dude, what did he do? He removed every TV game and all types of other stuff to try to get them to lock in. Hopefully that helps the team out a little bit. And I mean, hopefully they can turn it around and, prove Chase wrong in the playoffs. So my boy Lamar can get a ring.
I I'm a believer obviously in Lamar Jackson. I'm a believer in this offense. The way the defense is played and the amount of injuries that they've had on the defensive end, though, gives me a lot of cause for concern. So I'm not gonna say I fully believe because they do have a lot of ground to catch up. Being 3-5, that is a lot of ground to make up. And I'm not saying they can't do it because I think with Lamar Jackson, anything's possible. With Derrick Henry, I mean that offense is going to put up points and they're going to be just fine. But that defense looked really shaky. And I know the last 2 weeks they've looked a lot better, but I mean, we've seen it with a lot of other teams in the NFL. You can't really change that much on defense and get that much better over a season. So we'll have to see. Obviously, this week is a test against a solid Vikings team, so we'll see what happens. But then next, we'll touch on the Chiefs a little bit. I think we can probably all agree that Mahomes is going to find a way to get the Chiefs in the playoffs. But Dylan, do you think they get in, or do you think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle?
I think they definitely get in. I mean, you can never count Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid out. I mean, we know this. These matchups in the playoffs, we thought they would lose. They always come up on top, and I think this year is no different. Rashid Rice coming back helped their offense a lot. Their defense has struggled the past 2 weeks, but even during the struggles, haven't played that bad. And as long as you got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, you always got a chance. So if I'm a fan base, I'm really confident and the Chiefs so I think they can sneak in definitely.
Yeah, like I said before, they're currently half a game back because Jacksonville hasn't gone on the bye. Jacksonville does have the tiebreakers, so we'll call it a full game back. They have two more games left with the division leading Denver Broncos. Those will be big games coming up this week, or not this week. They have a bye, but week 11 and then week 17, the Raiders. I think we can all agree that's going to be just an easy win, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee is going to be an easy win. Houston and Dallas should be good games, but I still think those are wins for both of them. And then Indianapolis, we'll really see what Indianapolis is made of. But ultimately, I think with this game being in Arrowhead, I think the Chiefs are going to handle it. I see maybe four more losses if on this schedule. That'll put them at 10-7. Definitely enough to get back into it in the wild card.
Well, if it's 4
Yeah,
losses,
I mean,
that's going to hold them out, Kyle. Because they'll be 9
It could,
and 8.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
So it has to be
but 3
3
more
losses.
losses, I think they'll be okay. Yeah, and even then, they could win out. They really could win out.
yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to add to it. I obviously don't want the Chiefs to make the playoffs, but I'm not stupid. I know it's Patrick Mahomes. I know it's Andy Reid. I know there's a pretty good chance that they're going to make the playoffs. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We know what I want to happen, but yeah, there's definitely a very solid chance of them making it to the playoffs.
100%. Well, the last AFC team we're going to touch on has had a lot of struggles this season, has one of the best defenses in the NFL. Easily, I think we can all agree on that. But offensive struggles, play calling, injuries have really hindered this Texans team, man. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Kyle. I know you are probably going to have a lot to say on their playoff hopes, but you think at, 3-5, do you think they have an opportunity to get into playoffs, or is this a done season for them?
I think this is a done season. CJ Stroud's going to miss this next game versus Jacksonville, which very well could end in a loss in Jacksonville, who is at the end of the AFC postseason picture, a team that they're going to have to jump. They're going to completely lose the tiebreaker, losing both games to them this season. The Chiefs are going to be a tough game. I don't think they can, especially in Arrowhead. I don't remember the last time the Texans have won in Arrowhead since maybe 2019, back when Deshaun was in his prime. So I don't really see a path. If CJ was playing this weekend and we had a really good chance of going out and beating Jacksonville, I think, my mind probably changes a little bit, but it's really sad that we wasted like a generational defense this season, putting up numbers that it's been probably 5-6 years since we've actually seen back with the Seahawks when they had that Legion of Boom. But luckily they are retaining a lot of them going into next season. I think with the proper coaching on the offensive side of the ball, a couple big moves on the offensive line, I think this team will be just fine next year, especially if Joe Mixon is back and healthy. But for this season, it's a lost season.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Kyle. I think the injury, this concussion to CJ Stroud happened at the worst time. I think this game against the Jags is a must win for the tiebreaker, like you said. And y'all still have the Colts to play 2 games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't see y'all sweeping them. Like I see y'all splitting them, but this is a wrap for y'all. Like it sucks to say, as a Cowboys fan, y'all's defense is something I dream of for my team to have,
Yeah.
and to see the offense throw it away, or play calling, or O line, or whatever it is, it sucks to see. But yeah, I think their playoff dreams and hopes are gone.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with y'all. I don't think there's really a chance. But fun fact, my barber might be a bigger Texans fan than Kyle. Honestly, he always talks about the Texans. I swear, I know, I see the faces you made. I swear, he talks about the Texans 24/7. And I'm gonna see him tomorrow, so maybe he'll give me something and give me some like crazy reasoning, because he always has a crazy reasoning behind everything.
I can give you a crazy
And
reasoning. I'm just giving you a logical reasoning.
yeah, no, but he comes with some like, he convinces me a lot that he'd be like, man, this, that, and the other. We do this, that, and the other. We could really be good. This, that, and the other. So I don't know. Maybe I'll hear some of that tomorrow. But as of right now, yeah, the injuries and just it's sad to see that defense go to waste. But there's always next year.
Moving right ahead to the Carolina Panthers. This is a team that got a massive win against the Packers last week. Do y'all see them getting in the playoffs?
It's kind of the same thing that I was saying with the Bears. I just don't see any of Bears and Vikings. I just don't see any of those teams that are ahead of them really dropping out. Their schedule does look a little bit brighter though. You got New Orleans, Atlanta, 2 tough games with San Francisco and Los Angeles. New Orleans again, 2 versus Tampa Bay and Seattle. So I take that back. That actually is kind of a sneaky tough
Yeah.
schedule, especially if Tampa Bay gets a little more healthy later on in the season. Seattle's going to be really good. So really, there's three winnable, 3 easy games, both against New Orleans and then Atlanta. So even if they've been just finding ways to win games, which is what like solid teams do. Shout out Dave Canales. But same argument I made with these other teams. It's going to be really hard because I don't think any of the other teams are going to fall out. I think the 49ers are just going to get better, right? With Brock Purdy coming back. He's shown that even if it's a system QB thing, which I don't really agree with, he's going to go in there and he's going to perform well. So yeah, no true path for the Panthers.
Yeah, I just gotta agree with you, Kyle. As much as I love the Panthers players, I love the team, but I just simply don't think they got a chance. I wish they did, but they got a tough schedule coming up. The teams in front of them, to me, are a way better team than them, and but they can go away this season, walk away this season, and pretty happy. That's a big jump from this year to last year. So they should be pretty happy with where they're at right now. But yeah, I don't think they got a chance.
Yeah, I mean the big jump is definitely true, but I mean these are the pro athletes. They don't care nothing about that jump. They want to every year they want to get to the playoffs. And I mean I truly believe that they're in the locker room and they believe they have a chance, and they're very well might.
Boy,
But
hell
like
nah.
Kyle said, if they
Hell nah. You're tripping. They have no chance.
yo, can you let me talk?
All
Dang.
right.
I was
Can you-
gonna say, like Kyle said, their schedule is very hard, but also if that Tampa Bay team gets healthy and they have to play a tough, healthy Tampa Bay team twice in 3 weeks, yeah, they'll have to play them in twice in 3 weeks. I don't see them beating them not once if they're healthy. So that being said, I don't truly believe there's a path, but I think they think there is because they're pro athletes and they want to make the playoffs. And yes, they've gotten a lot better since last year, but they're not going to be satisfied. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make a comeback, but I don't think so.
Bro, with that logic, I mean, the Cowboys locker room thinks they can make the playoffs. Are they gonna make the playoffs?
Oh
Not a
my
chance.
God, bro!
I'm just
You
saying,
in the
bro.
what are you talking?
Any team. We
So
can
you
look at the
just
Texans.
came
The
you just
Texans
came
think
in
they
here
don't
today
make
to
the
pick a
playoffs.
fight. No, you just came
No,
in here
bro.
today to pick a
I'm
fight.
just saying. They let's be real, bro. They're not beating Seattle. They're not beating Tampa Bay twice. We know that for a fact. They're not beating San
That's what
Francisco.
I
And they're not
just
beating
said,
LA.
Chase. I
Bro,
said
this is gonna be a 10-loss team.
I could see
They're,
either way.
they're not even getting close. They got Bryce Young at quarterback. Bryce Young is, I mean, I like the guy. Seems like a nice kid. He's not a good
He's
NFL
gone
quarterback.
over 200 yards. I agree with you, Chase. He's gone over 200 yards one time this season.
One
I'm
time.
not saying the team is perfect. All you asked me, is there a path to the playoffs? I said truly I don't think so. But say that there's some injuries that happen, say that some teams have off days, I could see it.
It
That's
is
all
the
I said.
NFL. It is the NFL, and anybody can beat anybody on any
I
given
mean, these are
Sunday.
pro athletes. We're not talking about the Tennessee Titans. Like, that's the only team that they could try as hard as they want to, and they still won't win.
The Saints too.
like,
The Saints ain't winning nothing.
like what? Them and the Dallas Cowboys defense are the only teams that can try as hard as they can and just won't succeed. So,
All right,
Dallas Cowboys can't stop nothing, bro. Oh man.
hey,
It's bad, but moving right
They couldn't
ahead.
find water. They fell out of boat.
Oh God, bro. Freaking Donovan Wilson back there gonna be lost the entire time. But anyways,
Hmm.
moving right ahead. We had a crazy NFL trade deadline, probably the best we'd seen in the last couple of years, wouldn't you say, Kyle? I mean, this was a phenomenal deadline. We never really see in the NFL, at least, big stars getting traded like this, and we saw some pretty big names change teams. So starting right off this morning, we had Jacoby Myers go join the Jaguars receiving core. Do you think this is a good trade for the Jags? I've seen some kind of mixed opinions on this. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence's QB play is extremely inconsistent. They already have two good wide receivers with Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. down there, but do you
Well,
think
this is
he
what
elevates the Jags or
Travis Hunter is going to be out for an extended period of time,
yep,
Yeah,
and I think
he's on
with
IR.
them being they're on the cusp right now. They're at the 7th seed. They can lose a couple games and completely fall out, win a couple games and be in a really good position to make the postseason. So I think this trade was completely in correspondence to that Travis Hunter injury. They panicked a little bit. They gave up a good amount. Um, but like it was a necessary trade because there's a need that needed to be filled. You're not trusting Diami Brown to be, that number 2 after Travis Hunter gets hurt or Parker Washington. So I think this was a really good trade.
Yeah, I think that's the trade that needed to happen because Brian Thomas has had his struggles, and Jacoby finally got what he wanted. He's been wanting out of the Raiders since the off season of this last year, and yeah, I think this is a win for both sides. Like Kyle said, I think they gave up a little much because he just had a contract. So, but I mean, if I'm a Jags fan, I'm not that mad. You got
I mean, it's a
when
fourth
Travis
and a
Hunter
sixth
comes
round
back,
pick. So
yeah, you got 3 legitimate receivers.
Well, let's not act like those picks are just completely useless.
Yeah,
a sixth round
yeah. No,
pick
you.
is
Not necessarily. Those you could trade a 6th-round pick for some players. Like we saw Logan Wilson to the Cowboys. If we get into that later, I don't know. But for a 7th-round pick, we've seen Joe Mixon get traded for a 7th-round pick. We've seen a lot. You can do a lot with the 6th to 7th-round pick.
Yeah,
Whether
like 6, 7, like
you
those
can
picks in the 6, 7 round.
you can always
Yeah,
hit. You can hit on a player, but they're also used to go and acquire players in drafts. The more draft capital you have, I mean, the better situation you're going to be put in.
yeah,
yeah,
they got 3 legitimate receivers, so they should be happy.
yeah. As a Jags fan, I obviously try to look at the positives and everything. So, when I first heard it, like obviously Travis is out, so you get that option. But like Dylan said, when he comes back, that's 3 legitimate options. And I think that I have to agree with Kyle. They did kind of not rush or like I guess not overreact, but panic a little bit, like, oh, we need to find another option, whatever. But I don't think it was, I mean, some people on social media think it's the worst thing that happens, but that's social media. I think that it was a solid trade. I think he could help the team. I mean, if it doesn't work out, then everybody on social media is going to be right. But I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be all right.
yeah, I think it was a good trade, but we'll have to see. I've been a big fan of Jacoby Myers for a while now. Liked him on the Patriots. Obviously, I've liked him on the Raiders, and I think he's going to do good things. And that Liam Cohen offense, especially Trevor Lawrence, is for sure going to help him out. I think this is going to help Trevor out a lot. So moving right ahead,
Yeah.
Rashid
Oh,
Shaheed.
one
Oh,
more
what's up?
thing. I've
Let me know.
somehow always had Jacoby Myers on every single fantasy team I've
Me
ever
too.
had that I can remember. Somehow, some way, he always ends up on my fantasy team. So now he's on my actual favorite team. So hopefully he can work out because I don't think in fantasy he ever does. I always start him on the wrong weeks and stuff like that. So
He's a big boomer bust guy.
yeah,
But that's
in the
also
past,
on the Raiders offense. He's on a much more competent offense now. He's going to be seeing
yeah,
more consistent. He's not going to have the wide receiver 1 on him. Like in fantasy, when he was at his best, it's when Devontae Adams was taking that top cornerback off of him. Now he's going to have
yeah,
BTJ, who's very talented. Despite the struggles, BTJ is always going to have the attention of the best cornerback on our team.
Yeah, I don't play fantasy anymore, but y'all have to let me know if he starts going crazy. I mean, I'll see the games, but fantasy points can be different sometimes than just regular box scores.
All right. Well, moving ahead, Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks. I mean, this offense is going to be crazy. Now they have a deep threat with that under, and then they already have the best, probably one of the best intermediate and short route runners in the NFL right now with JSN, Cooper Cup in this offense, two great running backs, Sam Darnold. This Seahawks team is looking legit. What do y'all think about this move?
I love
Yeah.
it. I think they needed that one more piece. You can't really rely on Torrey Horton to be a receiver too when Cup's out. 'Cause Cup was out last week, and Rashid Shaheed is gonna be a deep ball threat, and him and Jason is gonna be absolutely nasty. I think Seattle they have Super Bowl hopes, and I think this trade helps them a little bit more with that this season.
Yeah, similar return to what we saw for Jacoby Myers. I don't think Rashid Shaheed is as valuable of a piece as Jacoby, but when you're in win now mode, you're willing to give up a little more. You get not desperate is not the word, but you're willing to part with more if it means that you're putting yourself in a better situation to win a championship. And that's what this trade does. Like Chase said, it gives them that deep ball threat. They have a reliable guy at every single part of the field. In the running game, you got JSN in the slants or something up the middle, and now Shashi for the long ball. Like I really like this trade for them. They're gonna be scary.
Yeah, the name of the game is defense wins championships, but I also think that versatility wins championships. And when you can have that in an offense, and when you can have, like Kyle said, the three levels of threats, it can be dangerous, especially if you're playing a secondary that has some holes in it. And if they're susceptible to speed, then it's always good to have a speed guy, and it's always good to have a deep threat. And the rich get richer.
I will say that this defense does go a little bit under the radar, but this is a very good defensive unit too. Shaheed is also going to do a lot of damage in the kick return game. He was one of the best kick returners for the Saints last season and throughout this season. So I think it's a massive move. They did give up a fourth and fifth round pick for Shaheed, but you know what? I think this makes inherently, I think this makes the Seahawks a lot better. But moving right ahead, for probably the biggest name to move on trade deadline day, maybe in the last 10 years. I mean, this was a really big move. Obviously, Sauce Gardner has not lived up to expectations up there in New York, but gets the move to the Colts. It did come at a price tag, though. The Colts did give up two first round picks and AD Mitchell, who obviously me and Dylan are pretty high on. But what are y'all's thoughts? Do you think Sauce makes the Colts a little bit better, or did the Jets kind of win this trade?
I think both can really be said. Sauce definitely makes this Colts team better. Anytime you have the opportunity to go out and get an elite corner, like they're hard to draft. Elite corners are very hard to draft. We've seen a couple the last couple years with Stingley, Gonzo, Witherspoon, J.C. Horn, but they're hard to come by. And if you have to give up two first round picks, if you really think that you have a chance to go win the Super Bowl this year, which I don't think they do, but if ownership, Carly Ursay Gordon, if she thinks they can win and she okayed this trade, then it's great for them. But for the Jets moving forward, I don't care if it's a weak draft or not. I know you were saying earlier, Chase, you're going to be in a position to draft Ty Simpson or Fernando Mendoza. You're going to have the opportunity to go try to replace him with maybe Caleb Downs with that second pick that you're getting. Um, they got a couple other picks, one for Dallas next season. I like the direction that the Jets are going in because things are broken there right now. They have talent all over the field with Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. They had Quinnen, Sauce, letting everybody go. Rebuild is definitely the direction that they needed to go in.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a win for both sides. But for the Jets, I think this is more of a win on the money side. They get his big contract gone. They don't got to worry about that. They can just worry about rebuilding this franchise. I think it starts from the owner. I think the owner is one of the worst owners in
Yep,
sports
Woody Johnson,
altogether.
100%.
It is it's pathetic. And also, as if you're a Colts fan, you gotta love this. You think you're a Super Bowl team, so you go get a player like Sauce, who's a game changer. You just can't help but be excited. I think this is a win on both sides. If I have to give a grade, I think it's an A for the Colts, and A+ for the Jets. But yeah, I think it's a good one for both sides.
I think this is
Yeah,
definitely. Oh yeah, you go first. You go first.
I think this is definitely a good trade. I think I'm leaning towards the Jets for for them winning only because of the versatility that multiple first round picks gets you. And I mean, if it works out, like Kyle said, if it works out, you can get that Caleb Downs, or you can get, Mendoza, or, just get multiple pieces for the price of one player. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about two NFL players versus one. Granted, they're going to be rookies, but two first round NFL players versus one. And I think that for, or actually, I think the biggest winner would be Sauce because he went from the Jets to a Super Bowl contender as of right now. And he actually is, playing for something. And maybe he'll get back to being that elite corner that he was. Cause I know people have been saying that he's been struggling or whatever, but I don't know. I think that it's a good trade for both people.
100% agree. Really, my initial reaction to this trade was giving up 2 firsts for Sauce. I mean, that makes me obviously wonder what the Cowboys could have gotten from Micah Parsons. Because if Sauce Gardner commands 2 first-round picks, I mean that's crazy. I mean that makes you wonder a lot about some of these trades that go down if he's worth 2 first-round picks. But I think the Colts are all in. They're in win now mode. It makes them a lot better. They're 100%. They got better on defense. Obviously, you bring in a player of Sauce Gardner's caliber into your locker room. That's just going to elevate the roster. So, I think he'll fit in well with the Colts. I think the Colts are definitely going to try and push for something this season. I think they have something special going on in Indianapolis. But for the last move that we're going to discuss here on trade deadline day, Quinnen Williams goes to the Cowboys for a second round pick in 2026 and a first round pick in 27 plus. They got rid of Mozzie Smith. Dylan, I know you were excited about this trade. What are your initial thoughts about it?
There's three things that I wanted, and it was help on defense, to get rid of Trayvon Diggs, and to get rid of Mozzie. We did two of those.
Trayvon Diggs is still there.
I know. I said we did two of
Oh,
those. Mozzie
Two
okay.
out of the three.
defense.
Okay,
Yeah.
my fault.
And Mozzie was one of the biggest busts in recent draft history for the Cowboys. We
Him
need
and
to stop
Taco
drafting these
Charlton.
Michigan players. Yep, need to stop drafting these Michigan players. Absolutely disgraceful. He has done nothing in his years here, and he will continue to do nothing for the Jets. I'm excited for Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams, Osa, and Kenny Clark has to be a crazy trio. And I know that we're pretty much said this season's over, so I'm just looking forward to next season. At least I can look forward to watching watch them play the Raiders and other games, because defense is a watch. But if we're on defense, I might as well go for a commercial break for 30 seconds because it's a touchdown. So I think it's very much needed. I wish we had secondary help, but I guess we'll look at in the draft. But I think it's a dub for us.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams is a great player. Really shores up the run defense for sure. It's going to be impossible to run up the middle against the Cowboys. And this move is honestly more for just next season than anything else. We talked about it that the Cowboys are really just going for it next season. They didn't do anything to really shore up the secondary. And now, instead of having 3 picks in the first 2 rounds of this coming draft where you could have done something with the secondary, get a safety, get a corner. Now I believe y'all only have 1 pick in this
No, it's 2
first couple
picks
rounds
because
this year.
the first round
Y'all
round
still
pick
have
was
the
for
other second round?
2027. Yeah. Yeah, we still have them both. We still have
Okay,
both
you're right.
first round
Okay,
picks.
you're right. for this
And
season. Okay, then that changes it. I didn't know the full details on it, but they definitely need to go. I think almost both of those picks need to be for the secondary, correct? Like,
damn near, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
that or if
I
there's an
mean,
elite division, linebacker or edge
yeah,
defender.
Edge rusher, yeah, yeah.
I feel like they're just betting on Siobhan Ravel to be what we all think he is. Because I mean, if you're not gonna put anything in trade in the trade deadline for the secondary, you at least gotta think he's good. But
Yep.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I was gonna say basically what Kyle said about the secondary. I was really expecting them to try to do something with the secondary, but like y'all said, also that is a move for next year. And I mean, with the draft, you could draft a couple good secondary pieces, and maybe I don't know who else is going to be available in the off season or whatever, but um, I don't know. I just expected something in the secondary. So, I mean, it's cool. The run game is shored up, and next season, y'all have one hell of a D line, but that secondary still. They won't need to run it if they just start throwing 40-yard bombs every play.
well, I will touch on that. I do think getting Demarion Overshown is. I mean, we addressed the linebacker room. Obviously, Demarion Overshown's going to get back and be healthy, so I think our linebackers are pretty shored up. And I think when you add a defensive tackle of Quentin Williams caliber, the O line almost has to double team him, so that's going to allow our linebackers to make plays. So I think our front seven is going to be pretty shored up. I would like to see. I think it's Ezeraku maybe get some more sacks in there, but I think obviously if you look at the back end, um, you, you're paying guys like Trayvon Diggs and Jerron Bland to be those elite cornerbacks. You think they're elite, so I think in the Cowboys' eyes, they feel like they have something elite, and maybe it could just be scheme with Eberflus, but we'll have to see. Looking at this roster, I mean, if they get hot, maybe there's something crazy that could happen, and they could sneak into that seventh seed and make the wild card, but you never know.
All right, we got our Week 10 slate starting off on Thursday Night Football. Raiders versus Broncos up there in Mile High should be an easy win for the Broncos. Then we have a Germany game this week: Falcons versus the Colts at 8:30 over there on NFL Network. And then starting off with our 12 o'clock slate, we're gonna have the Ravens versus the Vikings. Should be an interesting game. Bills versus the Dolphins, Browns versus the Jets, Jaguars, Texans, Patriots, Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers, and Giants, Bears, rounding out that 12 p.m. slate. And then starting off in our 3 p.m. window, we're going to have the Cardinals, Seahawks, Lions, Commanders, and Rams, 49ers. On Sunday Night Football this week, we've got the Steelers versus the Chargers. And then Monday Night Football, we've got a great matchup with the Eagles and the Packers at Lambeau Field. So that's going to get us right into our picks for Week 10. We're going to start off with an AFC South matchup between the Jaguars and Texans. Pretty pivotal matchup for both of these teams in their playoff hopes. Dylan, you want to start us off with your pick?
I was gonna say the Jags win by a million, but for some reason, I feel like Davis Mills has his legacy game for the Texans. I feel like he could lead them to a win. So, know what, Kyle? I'm gonna go with y'all. I'm gonna go with the Texans. I just feel like the Jags have been struggling really bad on offense, and I mean their last week before the bye, they saw a breakout game with Travis Hunter. He's hurt, and I think Brian Thomas continues to struggle. I think this defense is too good for them. I think they win by a field goal. I got the Texans.
I, I agree with you. I think this defense is going to make Jacksonville struggle. I don't think Jacksonville is going to put up many points. Unfortunately, I think Davis Mills' legacy game came back in Week 18 of 2022, whenever they beat the Colts. It was just absolutely hard to watch, and seeing what the Jacksonville defensive line did to our offensive line when CJ was there. Now you got an even less mobile quarterback in Davis. He can't really sit back in there. Play calling is going to be horrible. Pains me. I hate the Jaguars, but I'm going with them this week.
Is it me or you,
Oh,
Chase?
yeah. So I obviously, with CJ Stroud being out, I can't in good conscience pick the Texans because the Texans offense has been poor with CJ Stroud. With Davis Mills, it can only get worse. This Jaguars team thinks that they're in win now mode, going out and getting Jacoby Myers. They think that they have something special there this season with Liam Cohen. I think Trevor Lawrence struggles against this Texans defense, but that being said, this is going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be low scoring, but I do think the Jaguars are going to get the win.
Yeah, I'm not hearing all that low scoring stuff. I mean, I'm thinking 42-6 because they're gonna miss a field. No, I'm just playing. I definitely think the Jags offense is gonna struggle against the Texans defense, but I think Davis Mills is gonna struggle more against himself than the Jags offense is gonna struggle against the Texans defense. So I got Duval, of course.
Been into a really interesting matchup, always fun matchup between the Bucks and the Patriots. Tom Brady vibes. It's the Tom Brady Bowl here, but Patriots playing phenomenally right now, sitting there at 7-2, and the Buccaneers coming off the bye week. Baker Mayfield's been balling out. Which way do y'all see this one going?
I got the Patriots. I think the Patriots. I wanted to talk about this earlier. I think the Patriots are one of the best teams in all of football right now. Drake May is playing like an MVP quarterback, and he's having a phenomenal year. Mike Vrabel's really got this team alive. That's the coach they needed. Tennessee should never let him go, and I just think the Bucks continue to struggle. I know Bucky is supposed to be coming back this week, but I still think they struggle with the injuries they have, and I think I got the Patriots for sure.
The Bucks haven't really struggled. They're still 6-2. One of their losses came early on in the season versus the the Lions. I'm sorry, but I think right now New England's hot. Mike Vrabel has been absolutely turned that defense around. The offense has been playing really well. So give me the Patriots.
Yeah, I was back and forth on this pick. I really like the Buccaneers. I don't think they really struggled. Obviously, very injury ridden, but I I like the Buccaneers. I love Baker Mayfield's story, but I think the Patriots have been arguably one of the best teams in football this season. Drake May has completely immersified himself in the MVP conversation. And I like this Patriots team. They can beat you in a lot of ways. And Travion Henderson's starting to come on there for them. And this defense is low key slept on. So I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think they get the win this week, but I do think this is going to be a closely contested game.
Yeah, I was also in between. I really didn't know who I wanted to pick, but I went with the Patriots mainly because I mean they just been playing so good, and I like the Drake May story. I like to see the young guy do good, and I want to see it continue. Obviously, I'm still very high on Baker, and I'm very high on the Bucks, but I do think the Patriots are going to win this one.
All right, moving ahead. Ravens versus Vikings. This is a matchup of two teams that are looking forward to maybe getting in the playoff hunt again. Which way do y'all see this one going?
I mean, we talked about this earlier and how we think the Ravens could win out the whole whole rest of the season. And I mean, got Lamar coming back. I got the Ravens. I feel like the Ravens are a better team with Lamar than the Vikings are. And to me, this is a matchup of the week. This is the one I look forward to the most. It's gonna be a high scoring game, I think, and I'm excited to see what Lamar can do. And I got the Ravens.
I wouldn't say it's game of the week. We got Packers Eagles. That's gonna be a good one, but this will be good. I mean this in the least amount of glaze to Lamar Jackson way possible. He's such a difference maker,
Get ready for this
with
guy,
his
Blake Lamar
legs.
Jackson.
with his defense, or not his defense, his legs and his arm. He makes such a difference. And I think Baltimore is still a little bit of a better team. And I think Lamar makes all the difference. They're going to win.
You know what? I'm gonna disagree with y'all, and this is just a gut feeling. I don't know what it is about the Ravens team this season. I just don't think that they have it. Obviously, Lamar coming back is gonna be huge, but that defense still. I mean, like I said, they played two good games back to back weeks, but I'm still not sold. I'm not sold, and I think the Vikings beat a really good Lions team last week. And who's to say that they can't beat a Ravens team with Lamar Jackson? That defense is really good. If JJ McCarthy plays mistake-free football and Justin Jefferson does what Justin Jefferson does, Aaron Jones is going to run the ball well. I can see this Vikings team getting the dub. So you know what? I'm gonna go against what logically I would think to do, and I'm gonna pick the Vikings.
Yeah, so I don't know why we're not using logic, but
Hey, bro, it's all about
uh
heart. That's what we're picking with today.
Get that shit out of here, man.
right, I guess that's what they do at Rich Point Soccer. But uh but over here at Texas Southern University, we use logic and we going with
Is that
Lamar
so,
and we
Byron?
going with the Ravens. Yeah, allegedly. We we
Gotta
use
go.
we use logic, yeah. Nah, I'm going with the Ravens though. I think that he's gonna, like I said, I said this earlier in the pod, so I'm not really gonna talk too much on it. But I'm going with Lamar, I'm going with the Ravens. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
All right, moving ahead to a great matchup in the NFC West. We got the Battle of California, the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Always a fun game every single year. I mean, this is going to be a great game. Which way do you see this one going?
I think the Rams could take this one. And like you said, this game's always fun to watch. I just hope Puka can stay healthy, have him in fantasy. He's a game changer. And Devontae also a game changer. But I think this all comes down to if they can stop Christian McCaffrey on not just the rushing but on the receiving side too. And I think they can do it. And I don't know, like Christian McCaffrey is having just one of those crazy seasons as a running back on the receiving side of the football. I know for the first couple of weeks, I think the first 6 weeks, he was like third or fourth in catches or yards or something like that, some crazy stat. But I got the Rams. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I got them by, I think, 10, though.
Yeah, Jared Verse and Byron Young are going to make the biggest difference in this game. Uh, there's no such thing as stopping McCaffrey, only slowing him down, limiting him a little bit. I think that's what they can do here. San Francisco really has just been struggling to get receivers open. Mac Jones has looked pretty good, but I think the Rams have been a much better team. I think they are a better team. Puka's going to go off. Tay's going to go off. Stafford's going to go off. And even though they keep surprising me every week, they're 6-3. Until they get Brock Purdy back, I don't think I could really pick the Niners that much.
I completely agree. I think Brock Purdy is just a tad bit better than Mac Jones, and Mac Jones played well. I'm not dissing Mac Jones by any means, and Christian McCaffrey has been putting up superhuman stats. But that being said, I think that definitely losing Debo Samuel and having Brandon Ayuk out this whole season, that wide receiver room in San Francisco has really struggled. And if you look across the field, I mean, that could be the best 1-2 punch we have in the league right now is Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams. Like, they've been going off. Matthew Stafford's been delivering the ball well. It's a really good Rams offense. There's not much more to say than that. I think the Rams probably get this done. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Rams start pulling away in the fourth quarter. And I think if Puka plays and is healthy, Puka will have a big game. If Puka doesn't play, Devontae Adams is going to have a big game.
Yeah, I was low key in between on this one too. Just didn't really know who I wanted to pick. So I ended up going with who I like to watch more or most, honestly. And I love watching Matt Stafford play and I love watching him throw the football. So I picked the Rams. But realistically, I do think the Rams are gonna get it done, especially with no Purdy.
All right, moving ahead, we've got the LA Chargers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, two teams that got pretty big wins last week. Which way do you see this one going?
I know I had the Steelers over the Colts, but I don't think the Steelers are that good of a team. I think Justin Herbert had a good game last week, and I just feel like Quentin Johnson and Ladd are going to continue to get open. Their tight end rookie has been going off the past couple of weeks, and I just think that offense has, even for this great Steelers defense, that Chargers offense has too many ballers for them to stop all of them. But I think it's going to be a really close game. That being said, though, but I still got the Chargers.
Yeah, great offense going up against a great defense. And the Steelers offense with Aaron Rodgers has been pretty good. Still a little mediocre. You know, they've only scored 202 points, which in the AFC picture is kind of near the bottom, and that's been the difference. They got a +7 point differential on the season. The defense is always going to ball out, especially there in Pittsburgh. We talked about it with the Colts and why we think they struggled, but I like Justin Herbert in this one.
You know, I really like Justin Herbert, and I love Jim Harbaugh. I love the Chargers. I like what Kamani Vidal's been doing. Love that wide receiving core. Ladd McConkey's one of my favorite wide receivers to watch for obvious reasons. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. I think they build off what they did last week. That was a big win over the Colts, and I don't think that the Chargers are any different than that Colts team. I think that the Chargers' offensive line has been one of their weakest links this season, and especially with Joe all out for the season. I think the Steelers' D line takes absolute advantage of it. I think T.J. Watt has had a relatively quiet year for his standards. He's gonna absolutely come alive. They're gonna eat this this Chargers front alive. And I think Aaron Rodgers has done enough to game manage and win these games on offense for the Steelers. So, you know what? I'm going with Pittsburgh.
So what was the obvious reason that you mentioned?
I mean, he's Ladd McConkey's the type of guy that he's going to show up early to workouts. First guy in, last man out. Really hard worker.
Real blue collar player.
Hey,
Does he play the game?
Guy, if we're being real,
He plays the game the right way.
He plays the game the right way. I mean, I love the way Ladd McConkey.
What's your top 5 NBA players all time?
Oh man, I'm trolling.
Larry Bird, Luka Doncic.
I'm a big Larry Bird.
Bob
guy,
Cousy, whatever his name.
Yeah.
Even Austin
Right.
Reeves. I mean, Austin Reeves an all-time. I'm trolling.
Jokic.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, regardless of all that, I got the Chargers. They're gonna win. And what's Herbert's girlfriend's name?
Bro,
Madison Beer.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
No, Chase, I didn't know her name,
This
but
dude's
I seen a
acting like he
video
doesn't
or a
love to play
picture.
in the snow. Come on now.
We're not putting that in the pod,
Yes,
bro.
that's going in the pod.
No, that's not, bro. 5 seconds, so you can cut that out.
Yeah, let me edit it.
Bro, you're telling me you don't know who
This man's-
Madison Beer is, honestly.
Bro, Chase, you cannot be saying that bro.
We'll cut it out. I was trolling.
Should we just wait for Dylan to rejoin?
Yeah.
Bro, you cannot be saying that when I
You
literally
gotta get
told the
y'all's
girl about,
Wi-Fi right, bruh.
I know.
Both of
I
y'all.
literally told the girl about the podcast and she Hispanic. You talking about playing in the snow, bro. Chill out, bro.
Bro, that's not your
Hey, why
wife.
isn't she why isn't she following the pod?
I told her to.
I need followers like right now.
Hey, she's a social media, that's the one who works for A&M Outfitters. So she said she'll help us with social media.
Hell yeah, bro. Give her the account.
Whoa. I didn't say, I
Hell
told her she
no.
didn't have to do work. I said suggestions. Chase, what is up with you, bro?
What you mean?
What's this girl's
Bro,
name?
we're actually not gonna get done until like 1 o'clock.
Dude, no.
Nah.
It's taking forever. I'm about to just say fuck it and just not put this episode out because it's been
It has been a lot with the internets.
dude, it's like I can't even with this freaking app on my phone. I mean, it's just nothing's working tonight. So I may just call this one wraps and Whoever can be on it tomorrow just can be on it. If they can't, can't.
Well, why don't we just get some clips? Clips are the most important thing. YouTube don't get that much traction. If we can
We
just
can
get
put a
some
full
clips.
podcast out though. I mean, that's what it really is for. So
But we could do like the TikTok videos that y'all be doing about like breaking news, Sauce Gardner, this, that. I can actually help with a couple of those if y'all let me know.
Well, I think we're gonna get away from that. I think everything we post is gonna come through here. Like, you have access to the account, so you can just record one like that and then just
I
export
have
it real
access to
quick.
the account.
You're on it right now.
What?
You're on Walk Off Sports Media right now.
But I'm talking about like this is where y'all do like the voiceovers.
No, we used to do that on TikTok, but we switched it. So now, like, you would just record yourself doing this, and then you could add pictures to the TikTok editor and like make it look good. I don't know if you've seen the last couple that we've done. Chase did a
Yeah, I
really good
seen that
job.
where y'all
Yeah.
added like the videos and stuff. Y'all did that through here.
No, that's on
no, we did that on
CapCut.
TikTok.
So like this one right here, it literally just popped up.
Ohio State,
This is
Indiana,
on
Michigan,
CapCut.
Alabama,
Yeah.
Georgia, all holding their top 5
That's
teams.
tough. Why you want to switch it from that?
Well, no, that's what we're gonna go to, but we recorded it on here on Riverside.
Oh, and then you just added the
Edited it.
CapCut at the top.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, so are we still gonna do this or are we cutting it?
Yeah, just go ahead. Give your pick for the Chargers.
Your pick for
I already
the
said
Chargers.
I already said my stuff.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, I got cut off by Mr. Snow Bunny over here.
Hey, that's going in the
Yeah.
pod, by the way.
Tripping.
I'm editing it this week, and that's going in the pod. I'm kidding, Byron.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
All right. So yeah, I'm picking the Chargers. I think that they're gonna. I don't think the Steelers are good enough to beat the Chargers, and I was gonna say that Justin Herbert is gonna win, and the camera's gonna pan. And it's gonna be Madison Beer sitting right there on the sideline, and the Chargers are gonna get that dub. So yeah, that's what I got.
You think Madison Beer is gonna travel to Pittsburgh?
The game is in L.A.
Really?
Yeah,
I was going off what's on the screen because typically like the home team's on the right, but you're right. Okay.
nah. Yeah. I actually searched it up before I said that because I didn't want to look stupid. So okay, I was
All right,
gonna
we'll
say I
cut
know
that out
Google ain't
too.
lying to
Oh
me.
man, this is gonna be a lot of editing this week. But moving ahead, Monday Night Football, Philadelphia versus Green Bay. We're gonna have a great matchup here. Which way do you see this one going, Dylan?
Unfortunately, I think the Eagles win this one pretty easy. The Packers' best offensive weapon besides Joshua Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, is out the rest of the year. And I don't know. I watched the past couple Packer games, and other than Tucker Kraft being a freak of nature and breaking away, big runs and yards after catch, or Josh Jacobs on the 1 yard line touchdown. I think besides that, the offense sometimes struggles receiver wise. Golden hasn't had that great of a year. Romeo
Golden.
Dobbs,
I don't think Golden's playing in this game, right?
yeah, Romeo Dobbs stepped up big time. He's putting up some numbers, but I think the Eagles are too much of a match for the Packers. I got the Eagles.
Yeah, there's so many stars on both sides of the football here. The Eagles are always going to find a way to do it on offense. Even if Jalen Hurts has 150 passing yards, they're going to still put up, almost 30 points. That defense is going to be really good. I think Jordan Love is going to struggle a little bit with how injured and beat up that offensive line is with this Philly defense, and it's going to be really tough. So I got Philly as well.
I'm gonna have to go against y'all. Honestly, I gotta go Pack go with this one. This game is a night game at Lambeau Field, and temperatures are dropping. I'm not saying Philly can't handle the cold, but there's just something magical about playing a night game at Lambeau Field that it's just one of those premier grounds in the NFL for at least stadium wise. It's the purest form of football that there is. Jordan Love, I think he's going to have a great game against this Eagles defense that has not been elite this year. Josh Jacobs will get rolling. I can see this being a very high scoring Monday Night Football game, but just the fact that the Green Bay crowd is going to get rolling, they're not going to want to lose back to back home games. I think they get the dub against the Eagles this week.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in real life stadium posts, so I'm picking the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles because I'm never going against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, so I'm just gonna pick the Eagles. Yeah.
All right, that's going to move us over to college football, our recap for week 10. We had a really big upset right out of the gate on Saturday morning. Miami losing to SMU at Gerald J. Ford Stadium down there in Dallas. Carson Beck throwing an interception in overtime that eventually cost the Hurricanes that game. Then we had Ohio State steamrolling Penn State. Julian Sayin, 316, 4 touchdowns. Carnell Tate kind of been the wide receiver one, even over Jeremiah Smith up there, at least yardage wise and stats wise. Carnell Tate is having a phenomenal season. Ohio State just keeps churning out great wide receivers. Then Texas gets a massive win against Vanderbilt, was up 34-10 at a point in this game. Arch Manning, 328, 3 touchdowns, easily his best performance of his college career. You know, even though Ryan Wingo got injured, still had 89 yards in the touchdown. Diego Pavia put up a lot of yards in garbage time, but does finish with 365, 3 touchdowns through the air, and 43 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Notre Dame had a little bit of a dogfight against Boston College up there in Massachusetts. Was a pretty tough game for the Irish. They end up pulling away there in the second half, but definitely a testy game. You don't like to see that if you're one of the top teams struggling with a 1-7 Boston College team. Then Texas Tech silences all the haters. Everybody said Kansas State was a trap game for them up there in Manhattan, Kansas, and Red Raiders just proved to everybody that they're legit. They're looking ahead to BYU this week. They get the win 43-20 over Kansas State. Georgia escapes Florida barely. Again, I mean, this Georgia team is very resilient. They keep finding ways to win there at the end. But Florida, again, close with another team, just can't quite get it done. DJ Lagway plays okay again. I really like their running back Baugh, though. Gunnar Stockton has a solid games, but really the best player on the field, I thought, in that game was Zachariah Branch. 10 receptions, 112 yards. He has really come on strong in that Georgia offense, and Mike Bobo is getting him the ball in all different types of ways. So Zachariah Branch is somebody to watch here over the next coming weeks to have put up some really big numbers in some important games. But then NC State got a massive win over Georgia Tech, 48-36. Even in the loss, Haynes King had over 500 yards of offense, 4 total touchdowns. Crazy game. Georgia Tech ends up losing, though. Unfortunate for the Yellow Jackets. But Oklahoma gets a massive win in Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. John Mateer plays okay, does it some in the air and on the ground. Satanga, again, has shown why he's the wide receiver one up there at Oklahoma. Joey Aguilar puts up a lot of yards, but the turnovers just continue to cost this Tennessee team as they end up losing. Josh Heupel's team just is struggling to win these big games this season, but they're still a good football team. Then USC sneaks out of Osborne Field up there in Nebraska, winning 21-17. Jaden Mailata probably had his worst game this season. This Nebraska defense handled him pretty well. Dylan Raiola fractures his fibula, or I think it was actually a clean break, and he is going to be out for the season. So big loss for Nebraska, almost getting a big win versus USC. And then in the late game in the Big 12, Utah beats Cincinnati 45-14. I mean, this was an absolute ass kicking, and we kind of saw it coming with, Utah. Cincinnati just seemed a little bit fraudulent, but Utah gets the dub, and then Memphis steamrolls Rice, pretty much expected. This Memphis team is looking really good. But that brings us to one of our biggest talking points. Oklahoma with the win over Tennessee, and then Texas with the win over Vanderbilt. They have both catapulted themselves back into playoff contention, SEC contention, and national championship contention. What are y'all's thoughts on these two teams?
I think these are great teams. Obviously, college football is way better and more fun to watch when these two teams are in the center of it all. And this is great. Like I said, this is great. UT. I mean, they answered. They answered Vanderbilt. Yeah, they gave up a lot of garbage time points. That's never good. And then Oklahoma answered. Oklahoma answered the call for Tennessee. Continue to force turnovers with this great defense. This is really fun to watch, and I can't wait to see how the SEC turns out.
Yeah, they both put the ball back in their court. It's in their hands. If either one of these teams can win out, they're going to be in. But it's going to be really tough for both of them. Texas is going to play Georgia in Athens this week,
Next
and
week.
then we got
Next week.
is it
Yeah,
next?
they're-
That's
they're
right.
on
They
bye
got the
this
bye.
week.
They had the bye. They had the bye. You're right. But with 3 games left to go, they're going to play Georgia, Arkansas. I think they can take care of Arkansas. Then a huge game in Austin versus A&M. That's going to decide their season. I think they can afford maybe the loss to Georgia. They have to beat Arkansas and A&M, which is going to be tough. Oklahoma, on the other hand, I'm not as confident about. They play the number 4 ranked team, Alabama, coming up. And in Tuscaloosa, I think that's a loss. They play Missouri in Norman. That's going to be a really good game, I think. In the end, I do think Oklahoma's going to win. And then just a trap game here at the end. I don't know why. I feel like teams play a little bit better under interim coaches. And LSU on rivalry weekend, I kind of got that one as a loss. So I think Oklahoma is probably going to drop out of this mix. Texas has a chance, but it's steep. It's really steep.
Yeah, I was an Arch Manning hater, and I still don't think he's like, the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning reincarnate that everybody thought he was, or whatever people were calling him. But I do have to give credit where it's due. He has been playing pretty good, and this Texas team looks really good. I mean, the defense was always good. We always knew the defense was good. But if Arch throws the ball halfway accurately and continues to use his legs, I think that this Texas team could really, really be a contender. Sadly, I don't want to say it, but it's the truth. And like how I said with Oklahoma, their schedule, the LSU point is really good. I probably would say they will lose too. I mean, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks, but I don't know. I could feel what you're feeling with that. But if LSU just continues to just go down that terrible slope
Still,
that
I
they're
think
going
that
down.
they're still going to have 2 hard games with Bama and
Yeah.
Mizzou.
Yeah, for sure. Bama, I think, is the L. I don't think there's really a chance that they beat Bama at home. Missouri, I think they can beat Missouri, and yeah, I guess that last game is really going to be the deciding factor. But yeah, I think Texas is
But real
pretty
quick,
good.
I did forget about a point. I'm sorry, Chase. I know we talked about it on our little weekend recap, but with the 4 teams that are going to be automatically getting their bids in, that honestly could push out both Oklahoma and Texas. If Texas has statement wins over Georgia and A&M, it's not going to matter. They're going to jump into like that 6th seed, one of the top seeds, and they'll have an opportunity to play for the SEC championship game if they're able to drop A&M. But it could hurt both of them having possibly 2 ACC teams in, possibly having a couple a Big 12 team jumping in, so it's going to be tough.
All right, I have 2 rebuttals. First, I'm going to talk on Arch Manning. Byron, if you look at Eli Manning and Peyton Manning and even Grandpa Manning's stats, all 3 of them, they've kind of started off with pretty rocky starts in both their college and NFL
Don't
careers.
compare him to them. Don't do that.
He is.
Just-
He is
don't do
very
that.
good. The last 2 weeks, he has been the reason that Texas has won the last 2 football games.
Yeah.
played out of his
But
mind.
don't compare him
And
to
this is
them.
a good Vanderbilt team. I'm not saying he's there yet, but the talent is there. The talent is on display. He is a freak athlete. He is extremely athletic. probably you would be shocked if I told you, but he has one of the highest sprint speeds on Texas's team. So Arch Manning is definitely legit. We saw that last week a bit against Vanderbilt. With the bye week, Texas getting healthy, their whole season hinges upon this Georgia game. I think with 3 losses, like you said, Kyle, they're the first team out right now in the initial college football playoff rankings. So that means that they would be the first team looking on the outside in. Obviously, if they beat Georgia and Texas A&M, doesn't matter. They're automatically going to be in. But I do think if they lose to either Georgia or Texas A&M, they will sit in that first team out. But I think the playoff committee recognizes that this is a really good team. That being said, I think OU probably is looking at being an 8-4 team. They got a tough schedule. They're going to drop either. They could drop both Oklahoma and Missouri, but I mean not Oklahoma, both Alabama and Missouri, but they're for sure not winning both of those games. So definitely think Oklahoma is in bigger risk to drop out here. I think Texas probably has the best opportunity out of any team to rise over these next couple weeks with all the momentum from the Vandy game going into Georgia. That is going to be an incredible matchup. Georgia obviously is a good football team, but has not looked great at times. And then the A&M game in Austin, rivalry game, that is going to be insane. Especially if Texas wins out, that means we would have a 9-2 Texas team versus and potentially 11-0 Texas A&M team. Would be absolute scenes. Battle for the SEC championship. That's honestly what I'm hoping for. We could get a all-timer come Thanksgiving week. But moving ahead, Georgia escapes again. Just touched on Georgia. They barely get out with a win against Florida. I noticed that as was at a neutral site matchup in Orlando. So stadium was pretty split, so it wasn't really a home game for either team, but Georgia barely gets out over a Florida team that has struggled but is obviously a very talented roster. When do you think this catches up with Georgia?
I can see it happening this week. You know, they're playing Mississippi State. We've always talked about that they're going to give you a tough game. Um, I could see it happening this week. I'm not going to bet on that though. And then obviously again, you're going to have a big test with Texas. Texas's defense looks much better, and then Georgia Tech as well. So I mean, 3 really tough games coming up. But I believe in Kirby. I believe in Coach Smart. I believe in Gunnar Stockton. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think bad games happen. Especially this just comes to show that this Florida team isn't as bad as the record shows. And like I'm not worried. And Georgia barely escapes again. And if I'm not mistaken, this game had a couple of controversial calls, right? I
Yeah.
think there was a taunting or unsportsmanlike, right?
Yeah, and then there was a drop pass at the end that looked like it
Yeah.
had been caught, and it just unfortunately they overturned it, and gave the ball back to Georgia. So, I mean, I'm still like I said, Georgia has escaped time and time
2 wins.
again. They're getting away with games. I don't know
Yeah.
if they can sustain it because Mississippi State, like Kyle said, has given every team in the SEC a game this season, and then on top of that, then they got Texas. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, yes, they are escaping, but it's the SEC. All these teams are good. Now, especially with Vandy, there is no pushovers, and I think good teams know how to win ball games, and
Yeah.
that's what they've been doing. They've been winning ball games. So I think out of everybody that's on their schedule left, if there's anybody who could, you know, maybe take a close game from them, it would be Texas or Georgia Tech. But I don't know. If I'm gonna bank on anybody beating them, it would be Texas, I guess, right now, with the way Texas is playing.
I agree with you about Georgia Tech. We have brought up the point that Georgia is always a highly contested game. The way Georgia's played this season, I
True.
could easily see them. I mean, Georgia Tech, the way Georgia Tech's played this season, they could definitely give Georgia a game. Haynes King has been outright phenomenal, and this Georgia Tech team is definitely talented. So we could see it happening. Georgia's got a tough run of games here to close out the season. But the biggest news in college football from this weekend, after losing to Kentucky 10-3, which was an atrocious game. I had friends who went to that Auburn game, and 10-3 is just in college football, that's unheard of. You don't even really see that in the NFL anymore. So Hugh Freeze time was up. He's an offensive coach. His defense is great. The offense wasn't working out. Has not had a winning season at Auburn. It was time for him to go. But you guys think this was justified, or you think this was one that he should have been given through the end of the season?
I think it's justified. 6-16 in SEC games. That's never going to cut it. All these teams, like, I know this is going to sound like a crazy take, but I feel like for some of these SEC teams, they care more about beating up on each other than they do about maybe having success in the postseason. Again, I know that's kind of outlandish, but those SEC games matter so much to them. And when you can't win, it's bad for the fan base. It's bad for the boosters, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I agree. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, I think this is justified. Like Kyle says, stats don't lie. But on the opposite hand, Auburn, that's a very attractive head coach opening. You got the Memphis head coach, who has been getting a lot of buzz around being a phenomenal coach. Tulane's head coach,
Yeah.
and I'm excited. I love that all these jobs are opening up, and I love it. And this is creates so much like fun things going on in the off season. And I can't wait to see who gets all these job opportunities.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree that you got to win in the SEC, and that's what I was gonna say was the biggest reason. Like Chase said, he's never had a winning season. It won't cut it, especially with how competitive the SEC is getting right now. You know, they want wins and they want them now, and they're not really waiting anymore. They're gonna move on and find the next best guy.
100%. I do think, though, with the amount of openings this offseason, it's going to be hard to find guys that can really replace it. I think we see some coaches get recycled. James Franklin will easily be one of the primary guys targeted. Lane Kiffin's already been in talks with Florida and potentially LSU. I think Auburn is behind Florida and LSU. It's kind of a second tier job now, so they're gonna have to really look hard and find a really talented guy. Is that John Summerall from Tulane? Is that Ryan Silverfield from Memphis? We'll see. No idea where they go there, but it's going to be hard to start filling these positions because there are so many job openings. Like we could see guys maybe trickle down from the NFL, like a Cliff Kingsbury. We could see offensive coordinators like Ben Arbuckle. Maybe even Dabo Swinney leaves Clemson. There's a lot of different narratives that have been thrown out there, and we'll have to see and kind of digest that. But moving ahead to our college football playoff rankings for week 11, I am so happy these finally came out because we finally got a good ranking. I really don't have too many complaints. Ohio State obviously has been the best team in the country this year, and Indiana has been a close second. They obviously deserve to be 1 and 2, pretty much 1A and 1B in everybody's book. A&M falling them right at 3 has been the most battle-tested team in the country, has done enough to warrant that number 3 spot. Alabama, obviously at 4, has done great things this season. Georgia at 5, again, super resilient, only lost to the number 4 team in the country, definitely deserving of that 5 spot. And then Ole Miss, finally getting moved up. Ole Miss has played some really good football over the last couple weeks and easily deserved to be over Oregon, who Oregon has not played anybody. And I talked about that this last weekend, that Oregon has not played anybody, and it's finally showing up on the rankings. BYU and Texas Tech, that is a phenomenal matchup this week of 7 and 8 seeds. Both teams have played phenomenal in the Big 12. This is pretty much deciding who's going to probably get that bid. If Texas Tech is a 2-loss team, I don't see them getting in. So this is a massive game for the Big 12, and probably we will see this rematch in the Big 12 championship. Oregon sitting there at 9, finally gets a ranked team on their schedule this week against Iowa. We could see them, if they have a big win over Iowa, see them definitely jump back up in the rankings, but definitely deserving of that 9 spot right now. Notre Dame sitting at 10. Had a shaky game against BC, but this Notre Dame team with their 2 running backs is easily talented. Texas sitting there at 11. Gets the jump over Oklahoma. We all kind of expected and was shocked that the AP poll didn't have them at 11 over Oklahoma, having that win on a neutral site. Oklahoma sitting there at 12. Utah with a massive jump up after a big Cincinnati win. The committee rewarded that. Virginia gets moved back. They haven't really played anybody. Almost lost to North Carolina. Justified sitting there at 14. Louisville 15, about right for them. Vandy is at 16, and then Georgia Tech, kind of the only team I can say in this ranking that's truly pissed off, sitting there at 17, going from 8 in the country falling to 17. I know the loss to NC State was shocking, and they haven't really played anybody, but definitely I'm hot if I'm a Georgia Tech fan. Miami at 18, definitely justified. Has looked the part at sometimes, but you can't do what Carson Beck's been doing over the last couple weeks. And then USC moving up to 19. Iowa getting in the top 25. I've been really impressed with Iowa this season. They have looked really good. Jumping Michigan. Michigan's looked okay. Obviously, still not sold on Bryce Underwood, but we'll see what happens there. Missouri sitting there at 22, justified. Washington at 23. Pitt at 24, a team that I really like. And then Tennessee at 25, coming off a loss. Tennessee's still a good football team, and I think the committee pretty much got it right. But what are y'all's initial thoughts?
I think, me personally, I think Louisville should be above Virginia. I think they're a slightly better team, and I'm glad Washington's finally getting the love they deserve. They're having a great year, and yeah, I'm just happy to see UT finally jump in Oklahoma because they did beat them after all, and to have them last week not in front of them was kind of a slap in the face to me. But I think the rankings are finally where they should be at.
100% agree.
I think one thing I'd probably change is I wouldn't have dropped Vandy or Georgia Tech kind of that low. I think, yeah, Texas at the time was ranked 22 or 23.
20.
20, but we know they're a much better team than that. So dropping from 9, I think they should slot in right above Utah, because I think like that close game versus Texas is a little more impressive than a win versus Cincinnati, even though Cincinnati was ranked. Virginia, again, we've been talking about it all season. So I think Vandy should be slotted right there after Oklahoma, and as well as Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech should maybe be at 14.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle on in terms of Vandy and Georgia Tech. But for the rest of it, I think it's pretty much fine. I'm just really excited to see this BYU versus Texas Tech game.
Oh, man, me too.
I don't think I've gotten. I watched the Texas Tech versus Houston game live, but I haven't really got to watch many of their games live. So I'm definitely gonna have to tune in for that one.
100%.
I'm excited for it.
100%. Well, looking at the projected college football playoff bracket, we've got Memphis with the group of 5 spots in there at 12 versus Georgia with the 5 seed, Oregon versus Texas Tech, Virginia versus Ole Miss, Virginia being the ACC projected champs right now, Notre Dame versus BYU, and then with the byes, you got Alabama, Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Indiana. First teams out is going to be Texas and Oklahoma. Definitely SEC teams looking to get in, but right now you're looking at 4 SEC teams in the playoff. Could definitely maybe push it to 5 with one of the big 12 teams falling out. But this looks about right to me. I'm happy with what the committee's put forward. I'm really kind of impressed with what the committee has put out so far, and we're going to obviously see what happens in the coming weeks. But that's going to move us right ahead into our college football Week 11 slate. Northwestern plays USC on Friday night at 8 p.m. on Fox. That should be a decent game, but this is out in Southern California, so I expect USC to roll. Then starting off at 11 a.m. on Saturday on ABC, the must-watch game of the weekend. I do not know why this is not a night game. Fans are lining up outside Jones AT&T Stadium already to get tickets for this one. It will be an insane game. BYU versus Texas Tech. Then Indiana Penn State could potentially be a little trap game for Indiana, but I don't really see it. Should be a win for Indiana. Georgia versus Mississippi State. Again, we touched on it. Mississippi State's a good football team. Could potentially be a trap game, but we'll have to see. Ole Miss plays the Citadel. Ole Miss should roll. Ohio State, Purdue. We don't even need to talk about that. Ohio State's going to improve to 9-0. I can tell you that right now. And then Syracuse versus Miami at 2:30 p.m. Syracuse could be a sneaky one in this game. There's a big spread on this matchup. I would definitely bet on Syracuse to at least cover because I don't think Miami's going to beat Syracuse by over 28.5 points. Then Oregon versus Iowa will be a really interesting game in that 2:30 p.m. window. We could see some sparks. And then Texas A&M Missouri at 2:30. That'll also be a very, very big game for the Aggies going up there and playing in Columbia. And then Auburn versus Vanderbilt should be an interesting matchup with Auburn just firing Hugh Freeze. Washington, Wisconsin will be a decent game. California, Louisville. Louisville should roll, but California's given some teams some trouble. Wake Forest versus Virginia. We might see a closer matchup here because Virginia tends to play every team close. And then LSU, Alabama. I know LSU just fired Brian Kelly, but they're going to have stuff to prove with their new interim head coach, Frank Wilson. I think this could be a very, very interesting game down at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. And then we're going to wrap up the night with Notre Dame versus Navy on NBC. So that's going to move us to our college football picks for Week 10. And starting out, we've got a really fun matchup in the American Athletic. Tulane, led by John Summerall, one of those coaches we talked about potentially could be getting a Power 4 job here in the next couple weeks. And then against the other guy, that's a really hot name, Ryan Silversfield. This another guy that could eventually be moving on up. Two really good quarterbacks in this game, Jake Retzloff and Brendan Lewis, who is coming in a little bit banged up. But which way do y'all see this one going?
I think this is both teams are very well coached, very high powered offense. I think Memphis overall is a better team, but I don't know. I feel something special with Tulane. I feel like they can easily sneak one out. Like I said, I think Memphis is a better team, but I don't know. This Tulane team is very sneaky good, and they can easily sneak out a win.
Yeah, but Tulane's been sneaking out wins versus teams like Northwestern, South Alabama, barely beat Duke, beat Army by a touchdown, beat East Carolina by a touchdown. I think this one's kind of obvious. I'm going with Memphis pretty easily.
I will say, Kyle, that Tulane beating schools like Northwestern, Duke, those are really big wins for a Group of 5 program. But
I agree, but
we're not even looking like y'all should have just looked at the game last week. UTSA, a 4-4 team, smacked Tulane, absolutely beat the crap out of them. Memphis has continued to win ball games. They have that big win over USF. I think they roll Tulane. I don't think this one's going to be close, especially if Brendan Lewis plays. Memphis has a lot of quality wins within the group, within the American Athletic and also in their non-conference. They played really well this season. This is a really good Memphis football team, so I'm going with the Tigers.
You're muted. You're muted.
B-Rob, you muted.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, no, I went with Tulane also. I think that, obviously on paper, Memphis is the better team, but I'm kind of with Dylan. I don't know. When I seen what teams we were picking through, and I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like Tulane is going to win. I think that, obviously they're both well coached, but I don't know. I just couldn't. I picked Tulane.
What happened?
I know on paper Memphis is better, but sometimes you got to go with the underdog.
Weren't you just getting on a chase about not picking the logical?
Yeah.
The logical answer?
Okay, but Chase's picks are just insane.
Insane? How? Because the Ravens are at 3-5.
It's more so the
4-4.
fact that Chase likes to just add in Cowboys to any and every conversation.
I brought him up twice.
When we were talking about the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens, and you're just like, oh, Dak Prescott.
Because
nobody cares about Dak Prescott.
Version of Dak Prescott.
Whenever we started this podcast, I thought I was the most easily rage baited person, but I've been kind of level headed when it comes to my teams. I've done.
Yeah, he's
Bro,
been
it's not even nobody's rage baiting Chase. I'm just talking about random stuff, and then Chase wants to add on Cowboy stuff.
I wasn't. I compared Lamar Jackson to Dak Prescott, which every
Nobody
Everybody
was
in
talking
America is
about
different.
Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Nobody was talking about the Cowboys. We
I
were talking
wasn't
about
talking about
totally
the
different
Cowboys. I was
things.
comparing Lamar Jackson's playoff stats to Dak Prescott's playoff stats because everybody hates on Dak Prescott in the playoffs. Lamar is no
So,
different.
like I said, he wanted to make it about the Cowboys
How's
for
that
no
making it about the
reason.
Cowboys? I was
Nobody,
talking players. If I would have talked
because
about
he's
the
a
Cowboys, I would have
Cowboys
said
player.
the
What are you
Dallas
talking
Cowboys
about?
quarterback. No, I was talking
Yeah, exactly.
because
The
everybody
Cowboys
hates on Dak.
quarterback.
You know
You're
that.
making it about the Cowboys. I was talking about Lamar Jackson and me wanting to see him win the Super Bowl. And then you start talking about Lamar Jackson compared to Dak Prescott. Nobody cares about that.
Bro, everybody cares about that. Everybody
No,
will sit
you
here and
care
talk
about
about.
that.
We'll talk about playoff performances when it comes around to the playoffs. Ravens will probably make the playoffs. Lamar's gonna shit the bed again, and everybody will say, "Oh, there's Dak Prescott
And
again."
where Dak Prescott gonna be at?
Aren't
In
you a Jags?
Cancun
Watching the
with
game
his
with
fine
us.
ass wife.
Watching the game with us.
He gonna
I'm not hearing
be
that,
rich
bruh.
as hell in Cancun. So I mean I ain't tripping, but we do gotta move on. I'm getting tired. So great game this week out there in Lubbock. I know my boy JP's gonna try to get tickets. I don't know if he's gonna get them because everybody wants to be
Yeah,
at
shout
this
out
game.
JP, man. Shout out JP.
Yeah, great game this week between number 7 and number 8 seeded teams in the country. Two extremely well coached teams. Going to be really really fun to see. But which way are y'all going in this one?
My boy Nacho graduated from Texas Tech. He's gonna hate me with this pick, but I got BYU. I got the Mormons. I don't know. Just something about something
You
about
feeling
them
holy
and
today,
how they.
huh?
What happened?
I said you feeling holy today, huh?
Yeah, I just got back
No
from
joke.
church. Just got back from
Yeah.
church. But something about the Mormons is just. I thought they were a complete dog at the beginning of the season. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. They keep surprising me with wins, and this is to me is one of their first big challenges. And I think they can step up to the plate against a very, very good Texas Tech team.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really, really close game. I would pick BYU to cover the spread, with it being as close as it is. I think that's gonna be a really close game. But in the end, I think with this game being in Lubbock, and I'm just a huge believer in Baron Morton. So yeah, I'm going with the Red Raiders this week.
This one, I'm gonna say this right now. This one is not going to be close. BYU has not been tested this year. They have not beaten anybody worth anything. I like what BYU does. I've been impressed. That team is a good football team, no question. Will they be ranked 7 after this week? No. Will they be in the college football playoff picture after this week? No. I just don't see it. I think Texas Tech is going to absolutely steamroll them. We had all the narratives about Utah competing with Texas Tech at the beginning of the year. Oh, Devin Dampier is going to do so much. It's going to be the same thing with Bear Bachmeyer. Everybody's like, oh, who's this Bear Bachmeyer kid wearing 47? He's not going to do anything. I agree with you, Kyle. Baron Morton has played really steady this year. This Texas Tech defense is really good. I love this Texas Tech team, so I am slamming the Red Raiders. I think they win by 10 plus points. It's not going to be close up there in Lubbock.
Yeah, sadly, I'm gonna have to agree with Chase. I got Texas Tech too. They're I've heard multiple people say, and I agree too. They're one of the most, if not the most, balanced team in college football. And yeah, I don't see BYU stopping that. So I got Texas Tech.
I'm going to say something though. Both of these teams are probably too highly ranked being from the Big 12. The Big 12 is just a non-competitive league when you look over at the SEC or even the Big 10, which has been weaker this year collectively as a conference. I just I mean, it really you're not seeing a lot when Arizona State, one of the top teams in the Big 12, gets beat by one of the bottom feeders, Mississippi State, in the SEC. So I'm just going to say that right here. This game is super vital, though, for Big 12 getting 2 seeds in the playoff. So we'll end up seeing what happens. But moving ahead, potential trap game for the Aggies, potential upset alert. Which way do y'all see this one going between the Tigers and the Aggies?
I don't think this is a trap game at all. I think A&M steamrolls them, rolls straight through them. I think A&M potentially could go undefeated all the way to the UT game, and I don't know. I like the Aggies with this one. I I know you say it might be a trap game, but I don't know. That defense looks insane. I'm gonna go with the Aggies.
Yeah, not only does the defense look insane, super impressed from that offense so far this year. Say what you want about Marcel. He's winning games. He's putting them in great situations. All those receivers. I know I got it wrong. It's Mario Craver, not Carver. I got it wrong. Got flamed in the comments last week. But he's been their best receiver so far this year on top of Casey. And then that running game with Ruben Owens hasn't missed a beat with the Le'Veon Moss injury. So got the Aggies pretty easily.
You know, I really wanted to pick Missouri here, but you can't deny what Mike Elko is doing. I mean, Mike Elko has shown me this season that he is everything that Jimbo Fisher and Kevin Sumlin were not. He is a leader of men, and he has put together a phenomenal roster. Like we said, Marcel Reed has his deficiencies. He's going to turn the ball over. He's going to make some bad throws. The completion percentage is not going to be high, but he's also a freak athlete. He's going to win you football games. They have so many good players around him. Ruben Owens, when Le'Veon Moss comes back with Marcel Reed, those three guys are going to, that is a crazy rushing attack. Great wide receivers. Bethel Roman has come on over the last couple of weeks, is freakishly fast. And then, you got Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver that have been dominating. And then, I mean, I love Cassius Howell on that defense. I mean, I really like everything about this A&M team. The only thing I will say, Randy Bond's been a little bit shaky this year, the kicker at Texas A&M, but really impressed with this Aggies team, and especially with Bo Pribula being banged up and potentially out for the Tigers. I think the Aggies roll easily in Columbia.
Yeah, I'm going with A&M also. I personally think Marcel Reed is really good. I obviously, the incompletions and that this, that, and the other,
Interceptions.
but yo, you gotta stop cutting me off in what I'm saying, bro. Yes, I'm talking about his deficiencies as a quarterback. Yes, it's true. But like I always say, winners find a way to win. He always finds a way to win. And that's what really matters at the end of the day. The rest of that stuff is just for people to critique him on. And maybe later on in the draft, it'll get brought up. But as long as he's winning, he's the man. So I got A&M.
All right, moving ahead, Oregon versus Iowa could potentially be a tough game for the Ducks heading into and playing against Iowa, who's honestly played really good this season. We definitely have questions about Oregon. They are not battle tested. The one game that they were tested in played pretty poorly against Indiana. This could be a tough game for the Ducks, but I'd like to see how Dante Moore handles it. Which way do you see this one going, Dylan?
I got Oregon. I know this is their first, like you said, or the second test, but I don't even see Iowa as a test. Yeah, they're having a phenomenal season for Iowa standards, but I still got Oregon. I don't think Iowa is that good compared to what Oregon's got talent wise and coach wise, and give me the Ducks.
I mean, Iowa's put some points up this season, right? They have. They held Fernando Mendoza, who was arguably, if not the best right now, the number 2 quarterback in all of college football, to just 20 points a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I do think Dante Moore is going to show out this game. I think Oregon all around is just a better team. So I'm going with the Ducks.
I agree with the point you made, Kyle, about Iowa. They almost beat Indiana, and that's where I had my reservations about Indiana earlier on in the season because I didn't think Iowa was legit. But the way they've played throughout the season collectively, this team is legit. So definitely, if I'm Dan Lanning, I am cautious heading into this matchup for sure. I still think Oregon has too much firepower on offense to lose this game, but this is going to be a lot tighter than a lot of people think, and I would definitely expect Iowa to cover, but I'm going with the Ducks.
Yeah, man, I'm going with the Ducks also. I think that this game, Dan Lanning obviously knows that this is very important, and they know that, or he knows that everybody's saying they're not tested. So I think he's going to come with something a little different. We might see a couple different plays that we haven't seen, and I think we're going to see them come out with a different type of fire. And I think they're going to handle business against Iowa.
All right, moving ahead to a fun matchup in Tuscaloosa. Always a rivalry game, always a good game. Has definitely a different feel to it this year with Brian Kelly getting fired, but that could add some more flame to the fire. Which way do y'all see this one going down in Tuscaloosa?
Unfortunately, like you said, due to the firing, I feel like we got robbed a little bit as fans. But I think this is still gonna be a great game. I think Ty Simpson continues to shine, and maybe through this game he can make strides as a Heisman finalist. And I got Bama. I got Bama by I want to say 14 at least.
I said it earlier when I was talking about Oklahoma and LSU game that teams with interim coaches typically play a little more motivated, I guess. I don't know. Something to prove. And I think that does apply when they play Oklahoma, but I don't think that applies when they're playing Kalen DeBoer and Alabama. I think this team has had a complete 180 turnaround, and they look really good. I don't see anybody beating them right now.
I have to disagree, Kyle. This is a team that almost lost to South Carolina a couple weeks ago.
That's
I
a tough game though.
It's a tough game. Every game in the SEC is tough, but South Carolina's 3-5. LSU is inherently a lot better than South Carolina, and I can claim that right now. I think with Frank Wilson leading the helm, he's going to get that locker room back that Brian Kelly lost. I think this LSU team is very talented. Obviously, they've been ranked high all season, and everybody's expecting Alabama just to win this one outright. I think the Tigers, the A&M loss hurts, but I think they come in with a little something extra this game. They have nothing. They have nothing to lose and everything to prove. So, you know what? I'm gonna go again. Byron's gonna get on me for saying this, but I'm gonna go against the logic and I'm gonna pick with what I feel is gonna happen. I'm gonna go with LSU.
Yeah, Chase, we stopped worrying about your picks a long time ago. But anyways,
Says the guy who has a worse record than me, but it's all good.
worst record. Okay.
Yes.
I missed the last two pods. So I don't know how. I mean, I'd hope you have more wins than me by now.
Bro,
Anyways,
it's not off that. It's about winning percentage.
right. Anyway, anyways, I'm picking Bama because I know ball. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm picking Bama because obviously Alabama's hot, and I definitely don't think this LSU team. I think they're too inconsistent, and I think they have too many just question marks in terms of like who's going to perform and who's going to show up that day. And yes, the new coaching change might help. It might give them a new, different type of fire. But as of right now, I'm going with Bama. And maybe LSU surprises the world, but maybe not.
We'll have to see. Then the last game of the night, Notre Dame fighting Irish take on Navy. Which way do you see this one going, Dylan?
I feel like this could go one or two ways: Notre Dame blowout or Notre Dame barely winning. I feel like this will be a Notre Dame barely winning. I think a Navy might be a better team than people think they are. I mean, they don't play no one crazy due to being Navy, but it's hard to bet against Notre Dame when you get two of the best running backs in college football, in my opinion. And I think Notre Dame takes one by a pretty hefty amount.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. They almost lost to Temple. They lost to North Texas, which North Texas has been pretty good this year, but they're nowhere in comparison to Notre Dame. And I'm glad you ended up picking Notre Dame after what you said about Navy, because Notre Dame has been a really good team this year. Look at the two losses they have. Miami when they were on all cylinders firing, and then Texas A&M in a last play of the game shootout. So Notre Dame's going to win this one very easily. I don't have any doubt.
I agree with Notre Dame winning this game very easily. I disagree with that statement that you said that Notre Dame is a really good football team because we saw them struggle with Boston College last week. We've seen them struggle with USC. I mean, this is not an elite team by any stretch of the imagination. I have a lot of questions about CJ Carr at quarterback. Definitely miss Riley Leonard. That is so clear from when I watched this Notre Dame football team. But I mean, Jeremiah Love has been phenomenal for Notre Dame. I like Faison a lot too. And I think this Notre Dame team has just got too much for Navy. Like you said, Navy's coming off a loss to North Texas. They're going to drop another one too. Their record looks good, being 7-1, but they don't stand a chance against Notre Dame.
Yeah, man. I honestly didn't know too much about Navy football. I mean, like I knew historically, but this year I didn't really know too much. So doing my research, after looking at everything, I picked Notre Dame. I don't think that Navy this year, at least, is the team that's going to beat Notre Dame. And I agree with Dylan, though. I do think that sometimes Notre Dame does play down to competitions and they let teams stay in it a little bit longer than they should. But I do think Notre Dame wins it.
All right, that's going to show our picks. We're going to move ahead to our picks results for the last couple of weeks. Shoot, I forgot
Wait,
to
whoa.
update him.
Didn't he say he had a
No,
better
I forgot
record
to
than
update
me?
him. I forgot to update him. That was my fault.
Oh,
I
didn't he
left this
say he
slide
had a
blank.
better record than me?
So I have him on my phone. I have him on my phone right here. I had him written down. I just
Oh,
forgot to put
okay,
it on
so
the
we're
slide.
gonna go to
So
the
right now,
imaginary records that's
Byron's
not
still
on the
sitting at
slide that you
12 and
just
12 because
made
he missed the
today.
last couple pods. Dylan's at 22 and 14, kicking everybody's ass right now. He did go 6 and 6 last week, but up big. Kyle went 5 and 7 last week and is sitting there at 20 and 16. Went 5 and 7 last week. I went 7 and 5 last week at 18 and 18. And then moving
Oh,
right
so
ahead,
so you won because
I have more wins than you.
I wasn't in the pot. Okay, that's cool.
All right, bro. Anyways,
I'm
Dylan,
just making sure that's known.
we're gonna move ahead to our best bets. Dylan, who is gonna be your dog of the week, your bet of the week, and your player prop of the week?
My dog of the week is Falcons over Colts plus 230. Then the Colts continue to slide a little bit. Falcons offense coming off a hot week. Drake London 3 touchdowns. Bijan's going to wake up, at least I hope. And I got the Falcons over the Colts. Theo Johnson is looking like Jackson Dart's best friend on the field since Cam Scatterboo. Even before when Cam Scatterboo was playing, Theo Johnson always finds his end zone with Jackson Dart. So I think that's the easy bet of the week. And Brees Hall, I mean, we just seen what's happened. They cleared the house. Brees Hall won it out. And I think Brees Hall is gone this off season. So he might as well bring up his, like, the Jets had the better hope he brings up his stock. And he just came off an absolute crazy week, throwing for a touchdown and running for 2. And I have no reason to think he's not going to run for another one.
Kyle,
My
what do you
dog of the
got
week
this
was
week
really
for us?
my dog of the week was really hard. It took me so long to look through all the college games, the NFL games, the NBA games coming up, and I could not find an underdog that I genuinely liked. I'm gonna go with Syracuse, even though they're having a not good season by any means whatsoever. Miami, we've seen them falter. We've seen Carson Beck have 4 out of his last 5 games be just completely mediocre. So this one, I just like the number. I like the plus 3,500. So that's my dog of the week. My bet of the week is going to be Texas A&M covering their -6.5 over Missouri. They've done that in pretty much every single game except for Arkansas and Notre Dame and Auburn. And or even in Auburn, it was 6, so it's pretty close. But Notre Dame, who I think is a good team, don't know what y'all are really saying. And then they didn't do it against Arkansas. But A&M tends to pull away at the end of the games. So that's why I think they're going to have they are going to beat Missouri by 7. And then my player prop of the week, watching all these Rockets games, when Jabari Smith is healthy, which I believe he will be playing, coming back from that injury that kept him out against the Mavericks Monday night, he's a lock to make 2 to 3 3-pointers every single night. So this 1.5 line that they have every game, I put in every single one of my Rockets parlays. It's free money right there.
Well, I think we've noticed a trend with your player props every week. You like to get a Rockets player in there. So, trust Kyle when he knows his stuff about the Rockets. So I definitely put them in your parlays. But moving ahead, Oklahoma City continue to dominate 7-0 on the season, have looked really good, obviously been the best team in the NBA. SGA has continued his dominance. Chet's looked really good. They've got a really deep roster, so we don't need to spend too much time, but obviously Oklahoma City has picked up right where they left off. Some other teams that we have really enjoyed watching in the West, Spurs have looked really good, kind of been the surprise. I guess you wouldn't say surprise because we knew Wembanyama was going to be good at some point. Spurs have looked really good. Lakers have looked really good as well. Considering LeBron has been out, Luka's missed some time. Austin Reeves has been phenomenal this season. DeAndre Ayton had a great game last night. You know, this Lakers team could shock a lot of people this season. Not a lot
Hey,
of
you're
high
missing.
expectations, but we could end up
You're
seeing
missing
something
somebody.
crazy happen. And then obviously the Rockets, like the addition of Kevin Durant has been massive. They look like a really complete basketball team. But what are your thoughts on those 4 teams out west?
I think you missed somebody with the Lakers. You know, that Trust Leches cake. You got Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and then Laredo.
Yeah, he's.
You know,
I don't think it's not Laredo. It's LaRussia or something like. Hold on.
the rest of something like that.
Hold on. I will give you the
But
exact pronunciation. We can cut this, but hold on. Laravia. It's not Laredo, it's Laravia. So Laravia's
Laravia,
obviously
yeah.
played really well. Kind of been, the shock to the season. Um, really been
Yeah, the
impressed with
Rockets though.
everybody. But what's up?
Rockets though do have the #1 offensive rating in all of basketball right now. Defense is still very, very good. The only 2 losses that they had a pretty poor game where a lot of their players got into foul trouble versus the Pistons. Obviously lost to the Thunder in that opening night by 1 point in overtime. So really good team right there.
Yeah, I'm
Most
excited to
definitely.
see.
And
I'm excited to see what the Lakers look like with LeBron again, and this Rockets team to me is why I picked them to win the West, and they're proving every point that me and Kyle made right so far, and hopefully they keep proving us right.
obviously, we'll see in the coming weeks what happens, but definitely the West is always going to be packed with talent as we're seeing this season. 76ers, top of the Eastern Conference, look like the favorites out there in the East. VJ Edgecombe, they've hit on the last 2 drafts. VJ Edgecombe has been phenomenal coming out of Baylor so far with 76ers. Jared McCain was very good last year. Tyrese Maxey's been good. Embiid's been easing himself back in, but this team is absolutely loaded with what Philadelphia's done in the draft and then with that star power they already have, looking like that they could be favorites in the East. But the other shock team of the season, the Chicago Bulls, they've been phenomenal. Josh Giddey has been balling out. Nikola Vucevic has been really good. So, I mean, the top 2 teams in the East, which y'all have said Philadelphia and Chicago would be the 2 best teams coming out of the Eastern Conference at the start of the season.
I do believe I have it clipped. I did say this about the Sixers. I said when they're healthy, that's a good team. That last year was kind of it was weird, a lot of moving pieces. The Bulls I did not expect whatsoever for them to be 6-1. They beat some teams too. They beat the Sixers who were atop. They did lose to the Knicks, but they beat them the night before. So,
Yeah. I'm really excited about the Sixers team. I'm excited to see. I think what did Jared McCain do again? He tore his UCL, right?
His ACL, yeah, I'm
No,
pretty sure. His
ACL.
ACL.
Not ACL.
Yeah.
No, that was before. Then he was training, or like he came back from that and he was like practicing. I think he tore his UCL.
Something like that, yeah, but he's been
Yeah,
out.
but either way, I'm excited to see. Well, I'm interested to see how he fits back in with Edgecombe being so good, um, and just the talented guards that they have.
With Maxey as
But
well. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I'm excited to see all 3 of them playing on the same court. Maybe not at the same time. It'll probably be mixed in, and what they do with him because his shooting ability is lethal, and that's just gonna add another layer to this already very good team. But yeah, I definitely did not expect the Bulls to be as good as they are.
100%.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh Giddey. I mean, he's had
yeah,
off the court issues, messing with minors and some crazy stuff, but he's risen above all of that, got traded from the Thunder over to this Bulls team, kind of went under the radar last season, but he's kind of turning into what every draft analysis kind of thought he was going to eventually be. He's playing some really good basketball there up in Chicago. Dylan, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think Byron touched on the Sixers pretty good, and Sixers are winning with Embiid not even playing to his full ability and what he normally plays as. And so, I mean, this NBA season is definitely going to be fun to watch, though.
And you also have to touch on that Paul George is still on that team too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we could see some crazy stuff happening. But I'm going to quickly preview some soccer games for this weekend. We've got an exciting Premier League game between Manchester United and Tottenham this weekend. Manchester United's on a very good run of form. Tottenham just coming off a massive win in the Champions League against Copenhagen 4-0. This game could catapult both teams on good runs here in the Premier League, with Manchester United having a weaker schedule coming up. I mean, obviously, I've loved what I've seen out of Ruben Amorim's team over probably the last month, and Thomas Frank's team has looked really good, and a phenomenal goal from Mickey Van de Ven today. But will be a really interesting game this weekend. And then Sunday, we have Manchester City versus Liverpool. Obviously, have been the two perennial powerhouses over there in England. Always fun when you've got a guy like Erling Haaland that's scoring the amount of goals that he's been scoring. And then Liverpool, coming off a massive win today against Real Madrid, will be a very, very fun matchup for these two this weekend. I am so excited for this one. And then lastly, Bayern Munich. I mean, there's not much else to say about this team. They have started off the season winning 15 straight games. I mean, they are on a Golden State Warriors 73-9 run right now. I mean, it is ridiculous what they're doing. They're beating all the best teams in the world. Heck, they beat PSG today with 10 men, 2-1. PSG, I mean, just won the Champions League, was in the final for the Club World Cup. Obviously, one of the most talented teams in the world, and they won with 10 men. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous from Bayern Munich. Vincent Kompany has gotten them boys playing. Harry Kane's playing out of his mind. Michael Olise has looked great. That defense is sharp. They've got youngsters coming up through the team. I mean, I have been so overly impressed with Bayern Munich, and I think this is, they've been on a tough little stretch in Europe where they haven't won anything, and they've struggled a little bit domestically, but I think this is the year where that all definitely changes, and they win everything in Germany, and I could see them definitely winning the Champions League. So excited to see what Bayern Munich's got in their future, but they have started off the season so very strong. And then also, we got to talk a little bit about MLS playoffs. Obviously, playoffs have started. We already have seen teams like LAFC, Vancouver Whitecaps, and the Philadelphia Union move on to the next round. I'm interested to see how that San Diego-Portland series ends up. I'd love to see San Diego go through. Seattle Sounders have been battling with Minnesota. We can see the Sounders go through. Obviously, we want to see Messi go far in this year's playoffs. Inter Miami's got to get a win this Saturday against Nashville, but obviously the team to talk about right now is LAFC and that attack with Heung-min Song and Denny Boanga. They ever since Son joined LAFC from Tottenham this summer, they have just looked phenomenal, and I could definitely see them winning the entire MLS this season. But you do have to watch out. They've got a tough series against Sebastian Berhalter's Vancouver Whitecaps, who have been one of the best teams in the MLS this season, obviously on points, but then also their play style. They added Thomas Muller, who has been, a big player for Bayern Munich the entirety of his career. Great German international. So really looking forward to that quarterfinal series there. And, whoever goes through is probably going to have a chance to get to the final. And like I said, I would love to see Lionel Messi's Inter Miami get into the final as well, where we could have a really big blockbuster matchup and get a lot of eyes on the MLS here in the United States. But that's going to wrap up our episode 5 for Walk Off Sports Media's podcast. Again, we ask y'all just to follow and subscribe, give us likes, everything you can do, anything support wise helps. Tell your friends, just share everything. The more times we get talked about, it just really helps us out. So we really appreciate you guys who have already tuned in, given us a follow, given us a like, commented on a video. That has been absolutely huge for us, and we want to continue putting out really good content. So we would love to get y'all support. Our X and TikTok is going to be at WalkOffSM. Our YouTube is going to be at Walk-Off Sports Media. Our Instagram is going to be Walk-Off Sports Media, and you can catch us on YouTube and Spotify. So that being said, Dylan, Kyle, Byron, you want to leave any comments for the group?
Yeah, I just want to
I
say,
love seeing all the arguments.
yes, I love seeing the comments. I love seeing y'all talk crap to us about our bad takes. I love to see what y'all got to say. And it's all love from our side. We appreciate all of it, the good and the bad. And thank y'all.
Yeah, no, it's just cool seeing. Thank y'all for the likes. See y'all like the pick videos. We'll make sure to get a couple of those out.
Yeah, man. I hope y'all enjoyed me and Chase arguing the whole pod. And you know, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Send it to your family group chats. Make sure y'all put us on the TV during Thanksgiving. All of that.
Most
And
def.
yeah. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir. And that's going to be it from us. We appreciate you guys as always. And we look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments this week. And we'll bring you guys some more episodes maybe throughout this weekend. Looking at maybe a college basketball episode coming next week as well. Looking forward to bringing y'all the best sports content in the business. But we'll catch y'all at some other point. Thank you guys.
Thank you.